We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom, and hola.
Hola, how you doing?
Not as good as we could be if there was a major military operation going on right now, right? Because as they said there would be.
But what are the prospects for peace?
Zero.
Well, you know. So same old, same old.
Same old, same old. Same old, same old. Agreements, ceasefires, violations of agreements, love taps, threats of major escalation, and then not doing the major escalation, and then ceasefire and negotiations and agreements, and then violations of the agreements, and then love taps, and then here we are. We're now in the phase. We're back into. Oh, Monkey, remember, you said, to your credit, that we're probably going to see another rounds of negotiations before we see any escalations. You said that.
I did. And then
Yes.
like my prediction was they're gonna try for a week. Like if this gets to Friday, like I would be surprised because I don't know. I don't know if we can get to Friday without like either having flying someone somewhere for a deal or just going, you know what, we can't deal with this people. Just because of the timetable.
Hmm. You know, either President Trump is really looking for a deal, okay, in my opinion, or he's so good at making it look like he really wants a deal. It's one of these two. Either
I
he
mean, at some
genuinely
point, there's no difference.
True. Well, let's see what the update is, guys. Let me know in the chat how you guys are feeling and what you guys think about the recent updates. I'll play the recent updates for you guys so you guys could we're all on the same page, and then we go to the you go through everything one by one and all the analysis and the major updates and the inside information and all of that. So that's why and we're gonna pay attention to your comments as well. Wait, there's no. I need to unmute this for myself. There we go.
Here we go. Peace talks with Iran are set to resume today after President Trump called off a massive strike over the weekend.
But the commander-in-chief says any agreement will depend on ending Tehran's nuclear program.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yeeks is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. President Trump calling off planned strikes against Iran as he says a deal is close. According to the president, talks will resume today aimed at finalizing an agreement on the Strait of Hormuz. Trump says he was asked by Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia to hold off as diplomatic efforts play out.
We are attacked. That would be the biggest attack since World War II. And it would have been disastrous. And they didn't want us to do it. And frankly, Saudi Arabia didn't want it either. They thought that the deal is imminent.
Overnight, Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, posted to X about the memorandum of understanding that was reached earlier.
Wait, let me actually see if I can get the full statement of that, because that's not the good part of it. Like,
okay.
So is this a better? Because we want to talk about what President Trump said. Is this a better cut?
Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people. Because people die, a lot of people die, and we don't want that. So they asked us, Iran specifically, but the other three said I asked Saudi Arabia, the king, I said, the crown prince, I said, what would you rather do? Would you rather have us do this or not? And they said, we would much prefer a deal as opposed to an attack, because you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will they be flooded with people pouring into their country and disaster? A lot of bad things can happen. Would I rather make a deal?
So he says, like, well, I mean, I'll try to find the other segments as well. And let me other part. So he's saying, rather rather make a deal? I'd rather not kill people. I'd rather not escalate. Here's another part of it, which is important.
Disaster by Saudi Arabia, by UAE, by Qatar, and by Iran. We were all set to go just about at this time right now, and it would have been a massive attack. We're all set to go. But when the allies ask to call it off, you got to sort of say, well, let's see. And the reason they asked is I think there's a deal. There's a deal on Hormuz, and then there will be a deal on the nuclear, or you might call it the denuclearization of Iran. I call it the denuclearization of Iran. So we're holding it. We'll just see. We can do it anytime we want. But we're asked by the three primary groups. We're also asked by Iran, very strongly, actually. They said, we'd like to make a deal. Now, I don't know what they say, because a lot of times they'll say that to me, and then they'll go out and say, we don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, they don't want to be attacked. And they knew the extent of the attack because they saw it forming.
One more. Here's another one. So before we talk about this, so you can see all the context.
I don't want to say that, Steve. I can't say that. But it was going to be a massive attack. It was going to be an attack that would have been by far the biggest attack since World War II. But they've asked us not to do it. They said, please don't do it. And their neighbors said that too. And so we're just going to see whether or not we can make a deal toward the denuclearization. Yeah, well, they start tomorrow.
So he's saying it was the biggest attack. It was going to be the biggest attack since World War II. But they contacted us and asked us not to do it. And now we're not doing it.
Well, there's contradiction there, because he also said we called them and we asked them, well, do you think we should, like, if you go back to the first one, he said, well, we asked them, like he made it look like he called them, kind of like to take the blame off them for stopping the strike, is what I would surmise.
He did?
Because if you look at the first one, that's why
I didn't notice. Okay.
Check
Okay.
the first one.
Yeah,
Check the first one.
Okay.
Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people, because people die. A lot of people die, and we don't want that. So they asked us, Iran specifically, but the other three.
No, I mean the first one.
I asked them.
This is the first one. Oh, you mean the Trey Inks one?
I think that was the one, yeah.
Okay, so
The one where he talks about the king.
Be the biggest attack
yeah, this one. This is the first one.
since World War II, and it would have been disastrous. And they didn't want us to do it. And frankly, Saudi Arabia didn't want it either. They thought that the deal is imminent.
So that was the first one. But let me go to the second one and finish the second one more time.
Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people, because people die. A lot of people die, and we don't want that. So they asked us, Iran specifically, but the other three said I asked them. I asked Saudi Arabia, the king.
I asked.
Yeah, he said he asked them for their opinion. Yes, you're right.
I said, what would you rather do? Would you rather have us do this or not? And they said, we would
You
much
see?
prefer a deal as opposed to an attack, because you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will they be flooded with people pouring into
That's
their-
also important. Would they be flooded with people?
Wait. Yeah.
flooded with people pouring into their country and disaster? A lot of bad things can happen. Would I
So the point. So here are the points. He's saying that I want a deal. I don't want to kill people. A lot of bad things could happen during the war, so I prefer a deal. And he says, I don't want it. Saudi Arabia doesn't want it. Iran contacted us saying, don't attack. And there's a good deal now. They're coming with a deal. They don't want a war. And that's why we were about to do an attack that was big, the biggest war since World War II. And because I don't want to kill people and I don't want bad things to happen, the Saudis don't want it. And the Islamic Republic also called me. They asked me to stop it, so I stopped it. So that's the summary of everything.
No. That leaves out the pouring in of people. I think his boogeyman
I did
is
say
Libya
that.
and
I
Syria.
covered it.
Okay.
I covered it.
My bad. But I think the most important part in here, and his actual fear, is that he leaves Iran in the state where Libya was and Syria. Syria had a lot of slaughters, many slaughters, people taking each other as slaves. Libya had the same thing. This is like I've seen the videos myself, gruesome videos. and I've seen report after report, open source intel about that happening in Syria and Libya. And I've lived through the thing in Libya. And I think that's his boogeyman. That's what they're scaring him with. That's how they get him to hold back. It's like you think it's going to be easy. You think the people are going to take over, but they're not. There's going to be a whole bunch of people from a whole bunch of nations taking these people into slavery and slaughtering them. That's his boogeyman. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Like, I believe the Iranian people are going to be able to take hold, but I think that's what they're trying to scare him with.
Right. So here's the summary. Not all of it, but the ones that has been highlighted. I'm not looking to kill people. I'd rather make a deal. And then this one is, I was asked by Saudi Arabia, by UAE, and by Qatar, and by Iran. We were all set to go just about at this time right now, and it would have been a massive attack. The reason they asked to call it off, in brackets, is they think there is a deal. There's a deal on Hormuz, and then there will be a deal on the denuclearization of Iran. So we're holding it. We'll just see. And then this one, the reporter saying, on Iran, were you prepared to hit energy targets? Trump responded, I don't want to say that. It was going to be an attack that would have been by far the biggest attack since World War II. They said, please don't do it. I don't know who they is. And they said, please don't do it. And then neighbors said, okay, so they means the Islamic Republic. So the Islamic Republic said, please don't do it. And their neighbors said that too. So basically the Arab countries said that too. So we're just going to see whether or not we can make a deal with the denuclearization. And I think you guys know that shortly after. Let's go
like what it said, because it sounded like he's talking about two deals.
Yes, Strait of Hormuz and denuclearization, 2 deals.
No, but the one before this, like he put them like there's gonna be a deal later.
There's a deal on the Hormuz, and there will be a deal on denuclearization. So Hormuz.
That sounds like 2 deals, right?
Yes,
like he would accept a Hormuz deal that doesn't even talk about nukes. That would be, you know what I'm talking about? That would be kind of silly. I don't know. Look, I've said this before. If Trump is like, you don't need it. Like lots of presidents don't care about this stuff. There is a chance. Like this is all giving me deja vu. Isn't this exactly what happened before the MOU?
Yes, I mean, the optimistic thing is that, you know, can I give you an optimistic take? Okay,
please. I'll just say something after you, but go ahead, please.
We also had negotiations before the 40-day war, right? That didn't mean that and they killed Khamenei after, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's my take. Last time we did the MOU, I want everybody to remember, people were very angry with me because I said the deal doesn't matter. We just created a legal framework to take their money and hold it in our escrow accounts. And they're never going to get that. Hey, we just took their money and we gave it to our farmers to buy their stocks in corn and hay. So our farmers got paid with their money. And before that boat gets halfway across the Atlantic, they'll break the deal. And we'll keep the corn. Our farmers will keep the money and they will get nothing. And we will keep the oil and the money and the hay. This is what's going to happen because they signed that paper. And now we have a legal framework to take all the money from all the accounts they have in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, and we could pour all that money into those accounts. Now, let's say as part of this deal, he doesn't really care about nuclear because part of the deal is going to say America will hereby stop recognizing the IRGC as the legitimate government of Iran if this deal is broken. Let's say he's just covering his ass because he doesn't want to go through a dozen impeachments or whatever. And he's saying, you know what? I'm going to put it on the dot and they're going to sign it. And if they sign that, because they don't care, they're going to break the deal anyway. And they say, yeah, sure. You don't have to recognize. I was right. We would have the legal framework to bring in a transitional government. That's because he's stuck on rules. I know he went. They tried to fucking put him in jail. They took his mugshot. They did so much stuff to him that he may have a little bit of a, apprehension about not having his papers in order when he takes an action. And if that's what's going on, you know what? That's the best steel man I got.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but also the other side of this is that he just genuinely really wants a deal, right?
Yeah, that would make me very depressed. That's boomers love nukes because nukes scare boomers. Old people, old people, they're really scared of nukes. You know what young people are scared of? You know what puts the fear of God into young people? Wuhan. They had to spend their young lives locked up. They had to have their kids locked up. They lost their businesses. They're scared of Wuhan. Like they are scared. If you want to know what's really scary about this is them giving up all their nukes, and then Golibov spins up 1,000 Wuhans. That's the real fear I have, even though I am a boomer. But that's what they should be afraid of, because this is something that took the whole planet down, and it didn't take a nuke. It didn't even take a big facility, and no one could detect it.
All right, Bobo is saying Turkey, not Iran, is a long-term rival. Well, Iran is an ally. The Islamic Republic is their rival, and it's the highest priority one right now. The long-term rival the longest-term rival is the CCP in China. But Iran is an ally. Islamic Republic is an enemy. But I see what you're saying. Yes, if you're saying after the Islamic Republic, we need to be worrying about Turkey, I mean, we need to be worrying about them now. But yes, we have to deal with that problem more after. I do agree with that. And
what
then,
do you think about the Ataturk stuff?
We Iranian people really respect Ataturk.
So there was hope.
Oh yeah, Ataturk was the inspiration for Ataturk was the source of inspiration for Reza Shah modernizing Iran. Reza Shah went to Turkey, meet with Ataturk, and then when he came back, he was inspired by him to do the massive modernization that he did.
So we can have a little respect for some of what Turkey tried to do and some of those people.
Oh, for Turkey, for Ataturk, we have so much respect for Ataturk. I mean, Ataturk would be so much against the Islamization of Turkey right now. He was basically against all of that. Yeah. And Fit Over 50 Fitness, thank you so much for the jewels. And then Justin is saying, guys, I'm telling you, this has nothing to do with freeing the Iranian people. He wants his Nobel Peace Prize. If he ends the IRGC, there'll be no one left to agree to peace. Nobel is not awarded by force. I think he gave up on the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't think that's what
he already has one.
Yeah,
he got
Machado,
it from the
Machado.
Maria Corina Machado. Yeah.
Yes. But I don't think he wanted it to be like direct, but I think he gave up on that.
I'm gonna take it as a joke.
Oh yeah, okay. He ends the IRGC. If he ends the IRGC, he would be no one left to agree to peace. That's not true. It's not the IRGC that would be he's negotiating with. If you get rid of the IRGC, the remaining corpse of the Islamic Republic would agree to a peace, because there's nothing else they could do. Not a peace, a surrender deal. If you get rid of the IRGC, then you will definitely get a peace agreement, which is actually a surrender deal. That's not true. Without IRGC, a surrender deal is actually not only most likely, it's almost certain. So it's the opposite of that. And
Look,
then
they're never going to give him a prize. Let's just be honest about Nobel. Nobel bombed so many people. He killed so many people with the creation of dynamite that he felt very guilty, and he made a little prize. And everybody gives each other the prize because the bomber, Nobel, accidentally went oopsie daisy. I made bombs. You know what? I got nothing against Nobel. I like bombs. I love bombs. Bombs go boom. Booms are happy, especially in the 4th of July.
Got it. Justin with his super chat saying, we're dealing with classic toxic narcissistic tactics here. All the ups and downs are classic narcissistic tactics. I don't know what this got to do with narcissism, Justin. Ups
Yeah,
and downs
narcissist
are
will never admit the things that Trump admits. Will never make fun of himself the way that Trump does. Like, there's a lot about Trump that doesn't say narcissist. I know you can hear that a lot in CNN. You can hear that a lot in the BBC. You can hear a lot of leftists saying narcissist, narcissist, narcissist. I would rather say he's retarded about some things than say he's a narcissist, because it's just not true. He doesn't take himself
Trump
that
might
serious.
Trump might be a narcissist, in my opinion, but that's not a bad thing. A lot of people who are successful are in love with themselves, and that's why they are successful because they have so much confidence that comes. So narcissism is not necessarily a bad thing. It could be a force for good or a force for evil.
No,
But I'm just saying that
narcissists, like, clinically horrible people that you don't want near you and are definitely a
Okay.
danger.
Okay, like clinically, okay, but I think I'm talking about the way average people use it. But I don't know what the ups and downs. Like, I think the ups and down, going up and down, has had its positive effects in weakening the Islamic Republic. I mean, I think we have we need to get, when we were doing the MOU and negotiations, when it lasted, it had a lot of positive effects on weakening the Islamic Republic. I just think the time for that is over, even though I think it was a good plan to do ceasefire and attacks and then ceasefire and attack. I saw that it has such a damaging effect on the Islamic Republic's ideology and unity, but it doesn't have that effect anymore. I think the time for that is over. Now we need to move on. But previously, the ups and downs were actually effective in weakening the Islamic Republic before. All right, and thank you, Justin. And then Bobo is in with the super chat saying Trump must win the election. You mean the midterms? You mean his party must win the midterm elections? I think. I mean,
yes.
I do agree. Yeah. Yes.
I understand what he's trying to say. He means the Republicans must win the midterm.
The Republicans. Yeah, and right now it's not looking. I don't know, actually. Monkey, is it looking bad? A lot of people are saying it's looking
No,
bad.
most of the real divide is on the left. Like, the real serious divide is on the left. Most of the divide on the right is online. And it's a lot of third worlders pretending to be Americans to demoralize us.
Okay, so you think that it's not going to be a major defeat for the Republicans coming this midterm?
I think we have a good chance of winning, but it also kind of depends on us keeping prices low and having some wins in the international scene. Like, if we took Cuba, if we took Greenland, if we, finish this Iran situation, any of those three could work.
Okay. And then we have Justin correcting his misspelling earlier. I got it. Leo, I wanted to highlight this comment by Leo saying, I don't want optimistic takes. It just gets our hopes up and then plunges us into greater disappointment later. Leo, I do think that we need to, by the way, love the new hat. You changed the black hat to a white hat. I see. It's a pink hat. Looks good on you. But I do think that we just have to consider both the optimistic takes and the more pessimistic takes to be able to have a realistic take. I think we should take both of them, and we just need to become more resilient to disappointments because we're in a fight. So I just think we should just become more resilient and not let we're fighting. So we shouldn't be afraid of getting disappointed here and there. That comes with the fight. But I just wanted to highlight this because I wanted to respond to it. And thank you, Leo. And then we have Eliart supporting us with 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Eliart. And then Justin saying Dems can't impeach a president whom won the Nobel. I mean, they can.
No way. Is that a law? Where do you get that? Do you know how many Nobel Prize winners have been condemned by the left? We're talking about Aung San Suu Kyi, Barack Obama, Menachem Begin, Milton Friedman, Henry Kissinger. There's a long list of Nobel Prize winners that the left absolutely hates. The Democrats will impeach they will impeach a hat if that hat is against the LGBTQ, sex changes for 5-year-olds. Like, what do you mean they won't impeach? Of course they will. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yes. Nobel Prize doesn't stop an impeachment process. And then Justin with another super chat saying narcissism is about manipulating people and situations to get the outcome you want. I think those are
No.
two separate things. There are narcissist people who manipulate. There are narcissist people who don't manipulate. There are people who manipulate who are not narcissistic, and there are people who don't manipulate, who are narcissistic. So I don't think it's necessarily the same thing. That's not the definition. But
And
thank
one
you,
more
Jude.
thing, like Armin is talking about the common definition. If you want to go by the clinical definition, narcissists are fucking evil. And what you're talking about is just any business deal. Any business deal functions in the way you're talking about. Yes, I have to maneuver this and maneuver that to get them to sign this and that. I hold these assets that you need. You hold these assets that I need. That's just business. That's not manipulation.
Right. All right. Let's go back to Trey's summary of what's happening.
That the deal is imminent.
Overnight, Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, posted to X about the memorandum of understanding that was reached earlier this year, saying in part, I believe this memorandum will be the center of gravity for our foreign relations in the future. We must strive to compel the enemy to remain committed to what it has signed. The security of the country, the region, and our allies will be enhanced by this memorandum. Now, international focus remains.
So here's an interesting thing. I don't know if this tweet was about the earlier MOU. I think this tweet had two
Says
different
August too.
meanings. I know, because it's a new tweet, but the way Trey is talking about it, it seems like he's making it seem it was about the MOU that was signed before, right? So if you go to the tweet itself, let me translate it. Okay, it's saying the memorandum that was signed is the result of the collective wisdom of the council, the Security Council members, and saying all members are in sympathy, are in agreement with it. Okay, that is not true. If he's talking about the earlier MOU, we know at least one member of the Security Council was against the MOU being signed. We know that. That's public knowledge, right? So why is he saying that? And then he says, I believe this memorandum will be the center of gravity of our foreign relations in the future. We must strive to compel the enemy, meaning the United States, to remain committed to what it has signed. The security of the country, the region, and our allies will be enhanced by this memorandum. Okay, so this is August 2nd. This is after, isn't this after President Trump came out and announced that we have an agreement, right? That's
Can I
after.
ask you a
right?
question? And I'm sorry for asking. Is there anything lost in translation? Could you read it in the original and see if that we lose
Yes.
anything on our
But can
side?
I answer before I do that? Can I get the answer? Like, this is after, right? After President Trump.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the
So
timestamp there.
Yeah, so this is Pacific time, right? It's saying تفاهم‌نامه‌ای که امضا شد حاصل خرد جمعی اعضای شورا بود. So he's saying that the memorandum of understanding that was signed was the result of the wisdom of the crowd of the Shoam is the Supreme National Security Council. And he's saying all the people in the council were in agreement with it, which is, we know that's not true. It's official by the Islamic Republic itself that one person voted against it, right? And then it says باور دارم این تفاهمنامه مرکز ثقل رابطه خارجه. So yep, the rest of the translation is correct, right? So the rest of the translation is correct. I have a suspicion that this is not just about the previous MOU that was signed. I have a suspicion is that this is about the current agreement also. Like, he's basically, because why is he saying this now? Like, that MOU it's like long gone. Like, this is like from before. Why is he talking about the MOU now? You know how when President Monkey, you said President Trump needs to make these people come out and publicly accept that they're agreeing with us, right? And
Yes.
And then immediately after you said that, President Trump did that. But then I said that, well, this would be a huge price to pay, and they would not want to do that. The best they could do is to get Pezeshkian to come and do that, for him to take the blame and everything. Right?
I want to say I appreciate that you were right about that, and I also want to point out it's good that we have someone that can read this chat. You saw that? He read the original. Good translation.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is Pezeshkian kind of half because he's trying to say something without saying it. He's talking about he's making it seem like he's talking about the MOU, but he's also saying that everybody was in agreement with it. We know they weren't. So he's kind of talking about indirectly wants to talk about the current new agreement that they have with the Americans, and he's trying to meet the condition of President Trump publicly talking about it, but being sneaky about it. And they want to do it without throwing Ghalibaf under the bus or Arakshi under the bus, only having Pezeshkian kind of half-assing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is by the least important person within the regime, and also not even completely saying what he needs to be saying. It kind of meeting that demand by President Trump a little bit.
He's
That's
like
what they-
sneakily talking about two deals, but you know,
Yes.
sneakily, so it sounds like he's talking about one deal, but he's sneakily talking about two deals, and he's not that important.
Yes, exactly. That's what I think might be happening here. All right, so let's continue with this.
Country, the region, and our allies will be enhanced by this memorandum. Now, international focus remains on the Strait of Hormuz, where an explosion was heard this morning by a tanker, according to maritime tracking groups. Reports indicate that a new deal could see the strait opened for 60 days without fees. With the possibility of another agreement in sight, the region remains on alert since the Iranians are denying any direct progress.
We currently do not have negotiations with America. The negotiations are with Oman and are focused on reaching an understanding over a path to ensure the security of shipping passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
So you see, like, President Trump came out and said, like, okay, I was about to do an attack. It was supposed to be very big, biggest war since World War II. But they came out and said, like, look, don't attack. Please don't attack. Let's negotiate. And immediately after, they go on state TV and like, we're not even talking to the Americans. We're talking to Oman. We have no negotiations. We have no agreement with the Americans. And this is not even, this is the speaker for the foreign ministry, which is basically means that this is not the Durka Jihad, the most Durka Jihadi part of the Islamic Republic. This is supposed to be the negotiation facing track, the suits parts of the Islamic Republic. And they are saying there is no agreement. We didn't even talk to them. We're only talking to the Omanis. I mean, I'm not saying that he's being honest. I mean, even if he was being honest, he wouldn't know. It's not like he has the highest clearance to know about these things. But right after President Trump, they come in again saying, like, no, he's lying. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. That's what he's saying.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. This is like, you know, these people need to be smacked around, honestly. Like, if I was President Trump, I'm like, oh, you know, you mother tuckers, like, what, like, just what, like, honestly, like, how much longer are we going to let these people get away with this, right? Anyways,
Look, my only hope is that there's a secret line in there that says, if this deal is broken, we will stop recognizing you as a legitimate government. That would force us to seek negotiations and organizations through another government.
you know, Mikey, given that you have a good track record, this might happen tomorrow. Last time you said President Trump needs to come out and said, like, you guys need to publicly agree with me. Then President Trump did that the day after you said that. So now we're going to see if tomorrow, the next couple of days, if President Trump does this. Bobby is saying, what's the date of this? This is from a few hours ago. What you're watching here, this is like from a few hours ago. This Baghai.
Security of shipping passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
Here in
Hey.
Israel, the military
Texas is back. Texas, why you keep leaving us? She's asking me to check Telegram. Why you keep leaving us? It's never the same without you. I'm glad you're here. Why am I not seeing your message on Telegram? Okay, I'm going to search for it. Texas. There we go. Ooh. Big news, I think. Ooh, look at this. Oh, this just happened. Ooh, thank you, Texas. Monkey, this just happened. Just now, like 10 minutes ago. You want to read this?
I will, but first, thank you, Texas.
Thank you.
The Iranian leadership is unbelievably duplicitous. They ask for a meeting. Some would say beg. Talk begins with more scheduled in the immediate future. And they say openly and proudly that they're not having any discussion, that nothing is being talked about, and they're only dealing with Oman. They then go on to give their usual blather in saying that the Strait of Hormuz will be operated powerfully by them when it is already completely controlled by the United States Navy. And our blockade, or some say the United States wall of steel, nothing gets through to Iran unless we want it to. And nothing will get through unless a deal to total surrender
or total.
A deal or total surrender. I forgot. I'm sorry. Or total surrender is accomplished. Whether Iran wants to admit it or not, we are in fact talking of a solution to a problem that they have caused for decades. It is very simple. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Oh, boomer take. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
So he's acknowledging that they're lying, that they are agreeing with him behind, closed doors, and coming out and saying, like, it's interesting because we were just playing that. Like, we were like,
you were just saying they got to say it in the open.
So we were just playing exactly what Texas found for us. So he's responding to this statement by Baghai. Baghai came out and said that we're not dealing with the Americans. We're only talking to the Omanis, and we have no agreements with the Americans. And this was from a few hours ago. And as soon as we finished playing this, Texas just gave us this true social post from a few minutes ago. President Trump addressing this Baghai guy and saying they are lying. But the thing is that, okay, but there's no consequences. There needs to be consequences to them being such a two-faced. Like, if they're not acknowledging that they have an agreement with you, then bomb them. No, if they're not publicly acknowledging, or just record them and play it. Just record
I think they speak through second channels. I think they are talking, they are begging, they are talking through Oman. They say, hey, Oman, tell him this. And Oman says, hey, they said this. Okay, Oman, tell them I said that. And Oman said, hey, they said that. So they are in talks, but they're talking through a third party, so you never get to record them. And Oman is not going to record them and giving you the recording, because if they did that, no one is going to use them as a mediator, and they would lose their credibility in that sense. And that's a little bit of cachet, a little bit of international power. That's why Pakistan wanted to be in the deal. So they had a little bit more of international limelight.
What about, why are they not doing the thing that you said, Mikey? Like, we're not going to have any agreement unless you publicly tell people that we have an agreement. Why is that not a condition?
I think that's what that truth was about. Like, hey, you're lying behind closed door. I think at some say in some point it said whether they admit it or not, which gives them an out to not admit it. But I don't know. Like, the only thing that makes sense to me is that there's going to be somewhere in that paper that it says, if this deal is broken, we will no longer recognize you as the legitimate government of Iran. Because you can either not control your military, or you can control your military, but you don't stand by your deals.
Okay. Let's continue.
Through the Strait of Hormuz.
Here in Israel, the military remains on high alert. Officials believe the situation could change any day. Guys?
Trey, why did Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia ask Donald Trump to hold off? Is that because they fear retaliation since geographically they're close?
Yeah, exactly. They're concerned that if the United States targets Iranian energy infrastructure, that the response would mean missile fire toward gas and oil fields in the Persian Gulf. Some of these areas like the liquefied natural gas production in Qatar, for example, or other American-linked energy infrastructure in Saudi Arabia. It's interesting, though, the Iranians today saying that these talks aren't directly taking place with the Americans. And we've seen in the past that they make these statements simply to a domestic audience. Oftentimes, they'll say one thing publicly and then something else behind the scenes at the negotiating table. Many of the officials that are actually linked to that.
Yeah, we have been saying this for, like, this is interesting that now everybody has caught up to this, because we have been saying for so long that the greatest fear of the Islamic Republic is losing their base of support. So they need to save face. Their reputation is everything. Their reputation, their legitimacy is everything. If they lose that, they're gone.
That's since before Midnight Hammer?
Yeah, way before. Yeah. I mean, I've been saying this for 5 years. But yeah, right.
Official you heard from there, the foreign ministry spokesperson, have actually called President Trump directly asking for a deal. And it gives you a sense of the back and forth messages that are being exchanged behind the scenes. And we do understand the Trump administration has a direct line to Iranian officials.
So, Trey, it still looks like one of the things that continues to be a concern is the control of the strait. And I don't mean just from the traffic that is coming in and out, but the toll system. We were told when we started to get some leaks from that MOU that did not exist in the memorandum of understanding. Well, when it came out publicly, of course, it is a part of it. And it looks like the Iranians are trying to find some type of backdoor deal, even though they plan on pausing it for 60 days to implement that system. Is that going to be a non-starter for the president?
Very good.
If that
this whole situation with the Strait of Hormuz is not going to go away until the Islamic Republic falls. And United States will not give up on the Strait of Hormuz, and the Islamic Republic is not going to give up on the Strait of Hormuz either. And that's why, if you forget everything else, forget nuclear, even if you forget the Wuhan stuff, even if you forget the proxies, everything else, just if you focus on the Strait of Hormuz alone, which is not the most important thing here, but even if you just focus on that, United States cannot, is not going to give up on the Strait of Hormuz, and neither is the Islamic Republic. So we're just going to be here, de-escalation, escalation, de-escalation, escalation, until the fall of the Islamic Republic, just by that alone, right?
Yes.
Is that going to be a non-starter for the president?
If that is the case, it would be a non-starter for President Trump. And that's the challenging part here and why we have to remain focused on the facts of what we can gather. According to these initial reports, that 60-day window would be without tolls. The president's been very clear no one is going to toll this international waterway. And ultimately, he said if the Iranians try to toll it, the United States will toll it and be the guardians of the Strait of Hormuz. So moving forward, we have to look at the details that come out of these talks with Oman. But you saw that map there of the U.S. naval blockade, and this is really important to talk about. As this is taking place, and while the president paused these strikes against Iran, there's an ongoing U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports, and it is crippling the Iranian economy. They are losing hundreds of millions of dollars each and every day, and it's part of the reason that the Iranians are asking for a deal. They're asking for a solution here, because while the president...
this is going to lead to an uprising at some point. I don't know when. But the whole economic situation, maybe that's what the Americans are waiting for. Like, the economic condition leading into an uprising, causing an uprising at some point.
Listen, that's rough because that's gonna kill a lot of people, and it might not, depending on the kind of weaponry you have. Like a few guns can control a lot of people, and I'm not saying I have a say, or maybe even you don't have a say. If it happens, it happens. But
yeah,
it would be very costly.
Yep, 100%.
Very on alert and prepared, as he describes it, locked and loaded. There is this economic component that is harming the Iranian regime, and it is forcing them back to the negotiating table.
Trey, as Ainsley pointed out, a lot of the neighbors around Iran are very nervous about what Iran might do. Where does Oman fall into that in terms of that? Are they obviously, Iran says while they're not negotiating with the United States, they are negotiating with Oman. Do we have a good line with Oman? And is Oman working with American negotiators to make sure that we actually do find an avenue towards peace?
This is a great question, and I'm going to take you through a really quick, rough timeline. At the beginning, the United States was relying more on Oman before Operation Epic Fury to try and get a deal together with the Iranian regime. But as things progressed during the U.S. bombing campaign of Iran, Oman changed their position slightly, and they almost appeared more sympathetic to the Iranians. Well, the president had some tough talk for officials.
They're not sympathetic to the Islamic Republic. What's happening is that they're scared out of their mind. The Islamic Republic bombed them a little bit, and they're trying to figure out how to appease them because they think that nobody's going to protect them. And the only way to stop the Islamic Republic from attacking them is to just do what they're told. That's what they're scared of. That's the issue.
The thing,
it's not like yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
The thing about sympathy is you might not be sympathetic to a stranger's economic situation, but as soon as they put a gun to your head and say, give you the money, you might be a little bit more sympathetic about their economic situation. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what's going on here, right? It's like, oh my God, you're in trouble. Okay, whatever. Oh, I'm in trouble and I'm going to bomb you. Oh, you know what? Maybe we should help you out. One more thing. If I was a CIA, I would get a hold of those recordings, leak Ghalibaf begging, leak Pezeshkian begging, and say, oh, it must be a leak in Oman.
Yeah, that's a good one. We should do that.
Muscat, when he was at a cabinet meeting at the White House, you might remember. And since that moment, Oman has actually changed their tune, and they appear to be coordinating directly with the United States to ensure that there isn't any sort of backdoor deal reached with Iran. And so we do understand the coordination is still taking place and that the president's negotiating team is in touch with Omani officials to ensure that the Iranians aren't getting some sort of sweetheart deal here. The president wants the Strait of Hormuz open. He wants to ensure that there are no tolls on vessels passing through. But most importantly, as it relates to the Strait, that there isn't a threat against these shipping vessels that are currently trapped in the Persian Gulf, that they can freely move without the threat of missiles or drones attacking them. And then more broadly, we have this issue of Iran's nuclear program that, according to President Trump, when he spoke yesterday on Air Force One, is going to be addressed as part of this broader understanding that the administration is working to reach.
You know, as much as we get frustrated with the Arab countries around the Persian Gulf, I have to be honest, what choice do they have? You know, I know people are going to get angry with me for by me saying this, but if you were them, you know, the Islamic, there's a choice here. Let me steelman them and then destroy the steelman, right? So the steelman of these Arab countries trying to appease the Islamic Republic and work with them and trying to come up with a deal with them is that nobody is going to really protect them, and they can't protect themselves. And the Islamic Republic, and they're so vulnerable. They don't have the defense systems that Israel has. They can't because they're all over. You know, Israel is a small country and it's easy to protect, and they have the Iron Dome, and they have a technology that these countries don't have. And they have so much vulnerable, especially Saudi Arabia, because it's bigger and it can't defend all of its territory. It's just, they cannot just, what are they going to do? Are they going to push back against the Islamic Republic? Okay. Are the Americans going to come and protect their entire territory and their oil infrastructure and their water desalination facilities? No. Okay, then we have to go negotiate with these terrorists, or else they're going to destroy our entire economy. That's the perspective. But then to destroy my steel man is that, yeah, well, if you think things are bad now, then what if the Islamic Republic, if they survive, it's going to get 100 times worse in 10 years. It's going to get 100 times worse. They're going to have 30,000 ballistic missiles. They're going to have biological weapons. They're going to have nuclear weapons. Their proxy network is going to expand. And then if you're having a hard time dealing with them now, you have to be worried about them coming over and completely invading their country as they promised they would at that point, because then you're going to be able to do nothing about it back then, after that. So you need to just accept that you're going to be having to pay a huge price now, and it's going to be devastating, I know, for you guys, but the price of not doing anything is significantly more. and also give up on the Palestinian cause, join the Abrahamic Accord, and get under the security umbrella of Israel. So that I steelmanned it, and then I also responded to my steelman. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. Like, this only makes sense if you're just packing your bags full of cash to leave. If that's your perspective, wait, stop this long enough for me to pack my bags full of cash and the people's cash and the people's money and the people's everything so I can leave. Yeah, sure. You want to stop it. But if you plan to stay there, they're a problem. And this is the closest you're ever going to get to solving this problem.
Yeah. So their comeback would be like, yeah, okay, like we want the Islamic Republic to be gone, but like we can't do it. You guys can do it, and you guys seem to be wishy-washy about it. Like, could you commit 100% to getting rid of the Islamic Republic? Because this is like, there's three situations, and this is the worst one. Either we have no war here and we just get along with the Islamic Republic. I mean, we don't get along, but at least we don't have missiles flying over our heads. Or you guys commit to getting rid of the Islamic Republic. We like that because we can't do it. Or this third option, which is the worst, which is you're not getting rid of the Islamic Republic, but we also don't have peace. This is the worst, horrible situation. So if I'm one of these Arab countries, they're like, what can we do to get to one of these two options of either just finishing the job with the Islamic Republic or just stop this war and have, come up with a peace deal? Like, because this middle part is where we are hurting the most.
Exactly.
What would you do? Yeah. Okay. But there's nothing
like you have
can
to
do.
you have to attack. Like, you have to, like, I don't understand. Look, this doesn't make any sense to me. I have to, like, the only thing that makes sense to me is not, I don't have an answer because this doesn't make sense. It would be stupid. If I'm Saudi Arabia, I want to get rid of these people. I don't even care if my population is sympathetic. I don't fucking care. Right? If I'm in Iraq, I don't fucking care. They're going to be more of a danger later. If I'm in Oman, if I'm in Qatar, if I'm anywhere else, like, these peoples are psycho. I'd rather have an evil person I can count on to be self-interested than have an evil person that is unpredictable and self-sacrificial, because they are willing to burn their own country down just to get what they want. And that's not the kind of neighbor you want.
Yeah. I mean, they could also push for arming the Iranian people. They could push for that. Right?
Well,
That's what they should be. Yeah.
That's a long process through many months that many people would see from far away and would change the whole, like, there would become bombing campaigns that you would need months to train people that would lead to them bombing for months. Like, you would need that strike first at the minimum.
And let me just make
I'm also hearing some people talk about like there being some leaks, and I do understand that maybe some stuff leaked, but if you looked at the normal leaks that normally happen, any leaks that has happened recently would not be enough to make us stop. Like, say, oh, this leak and that leak, and these leaks have happened before, and we've gone ahead and bombed before. Like, I'm not seeing leaks as a major source of stopping. I do recognize that there may be some leaks out there, though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trust in any information, any reports on stuff being leaked and this being the reason for the war not happening unless we hear it from like more credible, direct information. Guys,
Absolutely.
just don't believe. Yeah, exactly. So let me see.
I'm looking at the pattern, and everything that they're saying is like, this has never stopped us before. Why would no, this doesn't make sense. This isn't the pattern.
All right, so here's the thing. Here, reporter is asking President Trump here, does Iran have a deadline? Okay, and President Trump saying, no, we'll see how it is. Okay, no deadline. Let me see.
No, we'll just see how it is. We're ready to go anytime we want. Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people because people die. A lot of people die. And we don't want that. So they asked us, Iran specifically, but the other three. said we really. I asked Saudi Arabia, the king. I said, the crown prince. I said, what would you rather do? Would you rather have us do this or not? They said, we would much prefer a deal as opposed to an attack, because you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will they be flooded with people pouring into their country and disaster? A lot of bad things can happen. Yes.
What do you think about the no deadline thing? Good idea, bad idea?
I don't like. Is it a good idea to make a deal?
No. He like for the Islamic Republic getting his act together, President Trump is putting no deadline. He's just saying like we'll just see how it goes. That's what he's saying.
Well, that doesn't mean that there's no deadline. That means that if there is a deadline, it's not public. He may have an internal deadline. Like he may tell his staff, okay, we're going to give them this many days, and if they don't do anything in this many days, we hit them. That doesn't mean we're going to tell them, hey, you only have until this time, because then they're just going to push the edge until that day kind of make a deal and then push. You understand what I mean?
All right, let's look at some of the super chats. Justin say, monkey, they didn't impeach those people. I was implying there's not enough political stock to impeach a Nobel Prize winner. Okay, so you're saying that, okay, so Justin is not saying that there's a legal, I'm not saying just because somebody has a Nobel Prize, that means that there's no legal path to impeach them. He's just saying there would be less appetite for it. I don't think so. I think like the Democrats wouldn't be, they're like, oh, he has a Nobel Prize, so let's not impeach him. I think there's enough anti-Trump hate for there to be a political capital for that, and a Nobel Prize will not reduce that. I mean, even if it does, it wouldn't reduce it by that much. Am I wrong about that?
I said, Nobel is part of patriarchy, and the patriarchy prize, we don't need prize from the patriarchy. Nobel is just another patriarch. He's an imperialist and a colonialist. Why do you give any? We should impeach him because he got a prize from a patriarchy guy.
Good one. Okay. And then we have Justin again with another super chat saying, other narcissistic tactics are dismissing and demeaning people's opinions simply because they say something you don't agree with or want to be true, all while publicly claiming to be a Christ follower, FYI. Okay, let's move on to that. Thank you, Justin. And then we have Fleshy with a super chat saying, super salty confetti. Thank you so much, Fleshy. Thank you for getting us there. And yes, salty, I get it. Thank you. Always here, always getting us to the finish line.
Look, one thing I'd like to say, if you're going to make arguments against Trump, there's a lot of good arguments to be made. Don't make the same personal level, kind of like regurgitated arguments that CNN makes, that MSNBC makes. Make a stronger argument, especially if you're here. I could make so many better arguments against Trump than the ones I hear. Like when I go off on Trump, people literally get mad at me because the things that I am talking about are very real and they're very demonstrably a problem, right? The arguments that I hear against Trump tend to be personal and emotional, and they don't work. Like anybody who's already voting for Trump, you're not going to convince them with that. You're not going to, that it's when you're going to make an argument against someone, try to make it more about their actions and the results of those actions than your opinion about their personality or their religion or how they, how they basically function as a member of that religion.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know that last one was about the Nobel stuff, right? That was about Nobel. Like they wouldn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's a no true Scotsman fallacy. Okay, I'm freezing up a little bit. Let me go with the rest of the super chats. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. I opened too many tabs. Rico is saying, starting to lose hope, but then I remember we have gone way too far to not finish the job. Yes, thank you for saying that, Rico. That's very important to remind people. And also remember, like, we have the easiest job in this war. Like, think about it historically. Wars have sometimes taken decades, and the people before us that been participating in war, they were at the battlefield, in the trenches, taking bullets, watching their buddies left and right being dying right next to them. Okay, they're not seeing their daughter or their father or their brothers and sisters for years, and they were at it for decades. Right? What are we doing? We are behind our computers talking about our opinions. Right? And it's the easiest way that we could, like, we're fighting for the right opinions in the information side of this, in the psychological side of this. So the news not going the way that we want and making us quit is silly, right? Given that what other people, not just historically but today, have to go through to try to keep winning the battle for liberty. So I think, like, us, like, following this when the news is going our way and then giving up when, just because we don't like, after, and we have been at this for how long? Like 5 months, 6 months. Wars, sometimes revolutions, wars, they take decades. So I think it's silly for us to just be like, oh, the news is not going my way, so I'm going to switch. I'm going to go do something else. Then we were never serious to begin with. So yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, go on.
Look, man, you don't have to be at your highest hope every day. That would be exhausting. Some days you're allowed to feel bad about it. Some days you're allowed to get sad about it. Some days you're allowed to not want to think about it at all. So if today is one of those days that you're feeling a little down, that's absolutely okay. But tomorrow's going to be a brighter day. All right. So just don't let that be forever. Like we would say, don't let that be forever. But if you're kind of down, wait. Feel that way, live with it, understand yourself, understand, like we are understanding people. We understand why you feel like that way, but just wait, let's see what happens, right? Don't completely give up, but it's okay. Like nobody is at high energy. Yeah, I get pissed at them sometimes too. I'm with you. They piss me off too, so I'm gonna send you a monkey hug and tell you everything's gonna be all right.
That's very sweet. Thank you, Monkey. Monkey being sweet. And then
He
we
doesn't
have
get no monkey hug. No monkey hug for you.
for this Jew hater. Okay, this Jew hater is saying it took the USA 20 years to replace Taliban with a stronger Taliban. Well, that's not all they did. They killed your guy, Osama bin Laden, the person on your side. They managed to take out the person. They killed many of the people. It's not the United States job to replace the government in Afghanistan. It's the United States job to go kill the people who killed Americans, and they did that very effectively. The reason why Taliban replaced Taliban is because the people in Afghanistan, Taliban represents the people, the average people in Afghanistan. That country has the Islamic disease, and that's the reflection. Taliban is a reflection of the people, the view of the people there. So United States should not be in the business of coming up with a government that doesn't actually reflect the people. Taliban is the natural government for the people in Afghanistan because most of them think like the Taliban. But America was successful in Afghanistan because the people who were responsible for 9/11, they paid the price for it. And in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and Osama bin Laden was killed. So Taliban ruling in Afghanistan, that's Afghanistan's problem. That's not the United States' problem. United States' problem was that Osama bin Laden was alive and then he died. People who kill Americans killed them. So that was a success. And then you continue with saying Iran will prevail. Yes, Iran will prevail 100% because the Islamic Republic will fall and Iran will prevail. Say glory to the IRGC and Islam. Oh, you're saying Iran, the Islamic Republic will prevail because of what you experience in Afghanistan? You're deluded. You're not very smart. Unlike Afghanistan, the Iranian people don't want Islam. The Islamic Republic is not a reflection of the Iranian people. By the way, if anyone from Afghanistan that is secular minded, that believes in liberty, I'm not generalizing all people in Afghanistan. I know there are a lot of heroes that are fighting for secularism and liberty in Afghanistan. I see you and I appreciate you, but I also understand that you are not the majority, and I also appreciate the fact that you're fighting for one day becoming the majority. And this is a longer term plan for Afghanistan. Just because I'm saying Taliban represents the average view in Afghanistan, it doesn't mean that I'm ignoring your existence. I see you and you are my heroes, right? And then he continues by saying, Allah is the best of planners. Okay, so guys, the actual quote from the Quran is that Allah is the best of all deceivers. Look how you are being shy about your own Quran. You're trying to whitewash your own Quranic verses. You changed it. It doesn't say Allah is the best. It says Allah is the best of all deceivers. So you're even shy about actually being honest about your own Quranic verses. Saying resistance will never die. Yes, true. The Iranian people's resistance against the Islamic takeover of their country will never die. It will succeed. Iranian people will win, and the Islamic Republic will fall. Islam will fall. And never retreat, never surrender. We won't. We will never surrender to the Islamic Republic. We will not retreat to the Islamic Republic, and the Islamic Republic will fall, and the Iranian people will win. There we go.
He's talking shit about my country. Mind if I have a little go at him over here?
Yes, of course. I have at it. Go on. You go ahead.
Okay. First of all, when we took out the Taliban and we left, right? Maybe we didn't left in the best of ways because we had a Biden potato in office. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: Taliban is just getting smacked around by Pakistan, aren't they? Like you say, a stronger Taliban. Like that's a lie. The National Resistance Front, led by Ahmed Massoud, is fighting the Taliban. The Afghanistan Freedom Front is fighting the Taliban, with the former Afghan National Army Chief General Staff Yassin Zia. The Sepahian Emihan, also called Homeland Soldiers Front or Soldiers for the Homeland, a new group in the middle of 2026, attacked and briefly seized Yaftali Sufia. So when you say it's stronger, what do you mean? It's being attacked on three fronts. It has three people fighting them. What do you mean they're stronger? That's ridiculous. They're getting smacked by Pakistan and three other people inside Afghanistan. So just a flat out lie. And I'm happy that Armin brought it out that you lie about your Allah being the prince of lies, also known as Baal or Hu Baal. Baal, the guy you worship, or Hu Baal, made the Kaaba, the pagan thing that you bow to every day, the Paga of the Kaaba of Hu Baal. So your religion is pagan. And that's why you kiss a rock, because that's a pagan thing to do. You worship a thing. You bow to a thing that has nothing to do with the religion of Abraham. Nothing to do with it. Abraham was never there, right? So that's why you're a pagan and a liar. And the only thing that Muhammad did, besides being a pedo slaver, was copy paste verses from Christians and Jews to make your pagan Kaaba Hu Baal religion look good. And nobody bought it. So then you had to try to convert people by force. Paganists.
So look at the verse that he's trying to refer to when it says Allah is the best of all planners. This is Quran chapter 3 verse 54 and chapter 8 verse 30, and it's makar, right? Makar is deceiver. The word is like the root is makr. So the meme, so MKR, that's the root word, which is basically deceiving, deceit. So he changed it. It's not a neutral planning. It's the classical Arabic lexicons basically treated as involving trickery. So it's a deceiver. It's not so that he changed he changed, like, look at this. Look at how dishonest you are. And by the way, that's a sin in Islam, to change the Quranic verse. That is one of the highest sin in Islam. As a way, you change Allah is the best of all deceivers to Allah is the best of all planners. I know the root word is makar, like deceiver. And you try to lie to us, but unfortunately for you, I know what I'm talking about, and I double check and I was correct. like, it's so interesting. He gives us a part of the Quran. He doesn't even know that I know that that's a Quranic verse, and I know that he's misrepresenting it. Immediately when I saw it, I knew that he's trying to what he's referring to. I'm actually proud of that. So Justin is saying that's the last one wasn't directed towards Trump, Monkey. Okay, let's thank you, Justin. Monkey, you're speaking, but you're muted. Thank you, Justin.
You made 2 tweets about Trump being a narcissist, then you described narcissism, and you're gonna tell me these things are not related? I'm a monkey, not a retard.
Okay. Let's cut it. Guys, let's get okay. Samantha with the super chat saying, can I also please be told everything will be all right?
Okay. I got this. I got this.
You go.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Monkey's gonna buy you a diamond ring. I hope that makes you feel better. I'm not really good at singing, but it's a thought that counts. I'm a little song, make you feel a little better.
Oh my God, I've never realized what a good deal that is. I'm gonna, like, if I was that kid, I would kill the mockingbird. A goddamn diamond ring. That bird better not sing. What?
No, okay.
Like,
you're not allowed to glue the beak shut. That doesn't count.
Yes. Oh my God. If that bird doesn't sing, Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring. Kill the goddamn bird. What the hell? A diamond ring? Yeah, I don't want to. I don't.
No. Okay. No, the conditions are you're a good keeper of your pets. No pet abuse. If you keep your pets well and they don't sing, then you get. Oh my God, parenting is so difficult.
Wow, sounds like a great deal. Okay. Yeah,
but it was a song to cheer her up. Like that's the whole point here. Sometimes a little song cheer you up.
It did work because look at her response. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, so she liked it. There you go.
All right.
All right. But overall, I do think like things will be okay. Because historically things are everything is getting better. Like, look at this. Like, one thing I know, Monkey, here's the thing. Most people throughout history thought that they're living at the worst of times while living at the best of times. Every generation, almost every generation, not all, but almost every generation of people in history for the past 10,000 years of civilization was living in the best of times because things are constantly improving. But somehow also almost every generation on average was convinced that this is the worst of times. And now this is more true than ever because we are truly living on the best of times. Poverty is dropping, war is decreasing, disease is reduced, access to food is the highest it has ever been, access to clean water is higher than ever been, access to healthcare is the highest that it has ever been. The chances of people dying from violence is the lowest it has ever been. And this is continuing, like, is increasing every single decade, and the rate at which it's increasing is also increasing. So it's accelerating everywhere. But because we have more access to the news and because bad news is more interesting than good news, we constantly think that everything is shit, but everything is improving. Everything is improving fast. And it will continue to do so. Yeah. Okay. And
if it doesn't, I'll sing more.
Yeah, you better be a man of your word, or like I want that, you better, get that diamond ring. You're gonna go bankrupt, Monkey, if you keep promising.
I said singing. I don't know about no rings.
Well, I don't know. That singing sounded like a contract to me. So Elisheva with a super chat saying, in English translation, it does say planner. Yep. Uber driver gave my kid a Quran on his ride yesterday. God damn it. I'm using it for reference. Yeah, the English translations depends on which translation you're looking at. Yeah, so many of the translations, for example, the Sahih International Translation is always whitewashing it and making it seem look better.
May I make a suggestion?
Hmm.
There is a Quran by Tommy Robinson. I think it's free to download. I don't know exactly the website, but I think that one goes into a lot of the details of the outline of why, the Quran, in the Quran itself, you can see it's like an expansionist political entity, not so much a religion. Like it's a jihad manual.
Yeah. Let me see if I could do something interesting for you guys. Schemers, look here. Okay. So let me show you this. If you look at the translation, right? So here's a whitewash translation. So this is the Quran that I meant, the verse that I mentioned, chapter 3, verse 54. So here's a whitewash translation, and Pictal is like a more older, more true to the Arabic version translation, right? So you can see, and it ends with Allah is the best of all planners in this Mustafa Khatab translation, but the Pictal translation, which is usually more accurate, and this is before these new translations came out, the ones before they were concerned about their international reputation, is saying, and Allah is the best of schemers. But also if you look at the word, is it basically goes to makar, like this is not planner. Makar, like in Iran, we know like makar is like a deceiver. And I also look at the root word. Makar is older English translations of the Quran use the word deceivers or schemers. Modern ones switch to planner to sanitize it. So more modern translations of the Quran switch the schemer or deceiver to planner to sanitize the Quran. But imagining, say, I worship the greatest of all deceivers, like believing that.
Well, I mean, if your god is who? Baal, the devil, then yeah, that makes perfect sense. Prince of Lie, the deceiver. Yeah, of course, he's a Satanist and a paganist.
I mean, that's not fair to Satan. I think it's when it comes to, honestly, I think when it comes to evil characters in religion, you can't do worse than Allah. Like, seriously.
Oh, I'm just saying there's not a difference. Like you can't do worse than the devil, Allah, Hubal, however you want to call the guy.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next super chat by the Jew hater. This Jew hater saying, Armin, can you please look up the verse Mishnah Nida 5:4 and tell me why they talk about 3-year-old girls in such a gross way? I actually did look at that. They're making a law that you shouldn't be doing that. So you're misrepresenting them. But by the way, good job
Is that
trying
in the Bible?
to do whataboutism. Good job trying to do whataboutism. You have no defense from me just showing to everybody. So here's what he's doing. I embarrassed his God and his prophet. I embarrass every single person on earth that worships Allah by showing everybody here that in your own Quran, in your own scripture, Allah admits that he's a deceiver, that he lies, that he deceives, and instead of, you have no response to that. The fact that you have no response to that shows that you accept, that I'm right. So instead of responding to it, because you have no response, you were like, oh, but what about this in Judaism? Monkey, you wanted to say something? And that's the Talmud, by
Yes.
the way, not the Torah.
I don't know what he's talking about. I have heard some people make a reference about Rebecca. Rebecca watered 10 camels. I don't know of any 3-year-old that can water 10 camels. I saw he say Rebecca was half the age of Aisha. Aisha was 6. I don't know of any 3-year-old that can water 10 camels, especially what watering 10 camels meant at that time. You would have to be a teenager, at least, probably an adult, to water 10 camels, like take the water to the camels from the well and water 10 camels. This is not an easy thing to do. This is a very heavy, big jar that you need to water 10 camels. But because he is the follower of Baal, right, the demon Baal,
Okay.
and that's he's a paganist. That's what he believes. I'm
You
going to
said
put
that.
in the link in the chat. I did eschatological report on why Hubal is Baal with all the reference material. I talked to people that are anthropologists. I talked to people that are academics.
Good.
This is
Got
an
it.
academic level investigative report. You can read to know why Hubal is Baal, and they come from the same line and same lineage.
All right, got it. So, guys, what he's doing is his, maliciously trying to use ancient text that is not the Torah. Like what I told you is the revelation from Allah. He's using Talmud, which is not in Judaism, is not even like a revelation from God. So this is a old text which is supposed to, it's not a moral endorsement. It was the opinion of some rabbis regarding a legal code, and it doesn't even say what he thinks, but he says it does. This is basically using the age to strictly as a boundary for physical trauma, which was believed for when physical trauma would be permanent. So, but what this code is doing is establishing the legal threshold that lays that the text actually is laying the groundwork for criminal liability, ensuring perpetrators of rape face severe punishment, including the death penalty. So it does the opposite of what he says, because his prophet raped many women and there's no punishment for that in Islam. What the text that he's referring to is actually a legal code for death penalty that endorses death penalty for rape. So in Islam, consent is not even discussed. In the text that he's referring to, it provides the death penalty for rape, which is the opposite of what he's suggesting. It explicitly protects the child as a victim. That's what the legal code is doing. Ultimately, this is the opposite of what he's suggesting here. This is what I just looked up. I just looked this up. And he's, again, guys, remember that many people who want to attack Jews, they go to the Talmud. Again, I don't support the Torah. I'm an atheist. There's many things in the Torah that I criticize and I'm against, but I'll try to be fair at least. I use the Quran to humiliate your religion, which is supposed to be the revelation of God. You use the Talmud, which is the opinions of rabbis. The opinions of rabbis, and there's so many infighting and disagreement within rabbis. The rabbi's commentary is contradictory because it's just opinions of different rabbis. It's not even considered to be a revelation from God.
One last thing
So
on
anyway.
this, and it's going to be a question to you. Well, the Talmud is like ancient Reddit; they're just arguing in there. But one last question to you: in modern times that you know of, how many religions, how many nations, because of religion, allow pedophilic marriages, and
Right.
and how many don't? Like, who has this pattern? If we're going to compare religions, who has the pattern to use their religion as an excuse for pedophilia?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that you're asking that, because at the end of the day, we have to look at the results. You're like, oh, this religion is bad, that religion is good, that religion is better, that religion is more evil. Look at the world and see if you get more evil from any other religion compared to Islam. When it comes to child rape, do you see Jews raping children at the scale that do you see in the Muslim communities? No, you don't. Even the place like in Christianity where the Catholic Church is like famous for some priests, like the priests do child abuse, like on a per capita basis. First of all, it's not Catholic, it's just like a certain, it's the priest, which is already a small minority of Catholics. But on a per capita basis, nobody can compete with the Muslim community when it comes to child rape. Nobody, it doesn't even come close. So you could be like, oh, look at this scripture, look at that scripture, look at this interpretation, look at that interpretation, look at the effect, look at the result. The result speaks for themselves. Muslims rape children more than any other, not all, not most, but per capita, you see this in Muslim communities more than any other community by a huge margin. Nobody can compete with the Muslim community when it comes to this. It must be your religion. You know why I know it's your religion? Because it's the same thing across different Islamic societies, different Islamic communities across the world, independent of the geography, independent of their history, independent of the cultural background that they had before Islam came over there. It's just the only factor that seems to be the same as Islam. So it must be, because if you isolate all other factors, the only thing that is left that will explain it, it's not just correlation, it's causation. When you see correlation and then you remove all other external factors and you still have the correlation, then it's not correlation anymore. It's not just correlation anymore. It's causation. Islam causes child rape because there's no other factor that they all share other than Islam.
He's talking about Epstein. We put Epstein in jail. What did you do? Did you put Mohammed in jail? Epstein's oldest victim. We put him in jail. Epstein's oldest victim, I think, was twice the age of Aisha or more. So, yeah, we put Epstein in jail. Did you put Mohammed in jail?
Great answer, Monkey. That was such a short and effective. Oof. That was so good. Epstein, we put Epstein in jail. Did you put Muhammad in jail? That was massive.
I would say that every time that someone on CNN or Fox, they guess that, oh, well, you're the Epstein class. Okay, we put Epstein in jail. Did you put Muhammad in jail? That's the answer. That's the short and sweet one.
That was pretty good. I love that. That was pretty effective. That's a pretty powerful response. All right, next super chat by Amir. You want to read this one?
Yes. IKC, try Google. He's talking to that guy, the Jew hater. Try to Google Mishnah Nida. Google if Mishnah Nida is in the Bible. It's not. It's not.
It's not. Okay. Yep, exactly. It's just a Talmud. It's rabbis' comments. Casey with a super chat saying, for great info, check out Promethean Action. Okay, I don't know what that is. Guys, Google it.
Did you know that the Talmud? I heard this from Nux. That the Talmud is basically r/rabbi Reddit for Jewish people. Like these were rabbis, kind of like having a lot of different opinions and arguing in there.
Yep, it's basically the commentary on what they think is right.
I thought calling it Reddit is funny.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. I like that analogy. It's pretty clever. And well, hold on. Let me see if I could figure out what this is. Promethean. Okay, what is Promethean Action? Okay, guys, look it up. I'm not going to be able to look it up. Thank you, Casey. Jagatai with a super chat saying, does Jew hater know he has a 71 out of 72 odd of going to hell? I mean, he did misrepresent the Quran. That's a sin in Islam. So even by his own religion, he's going to go to the Quran. But is that a reference to the Huris that he's supposed to get in heaven? 72 virgins? And thank you, Jagatai.
Or goats.
Not why or virgin goats. Doesn't have to be.
Well, there's one goat that's sacred, not sacred that will worship it, but that cannot be touched by anyone, and this goat will be protected. You're seeing him right now. Nobody's touching this goat. Okay, that goat is under protection.
I'll protect you. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. They're not gonna hurt you. They're not gonna hurt you. It's fine. No Muslims. No Muslims in this house. And thank you. By the way, guys, if you're a Muslim, not all Muslims, okay, but you have to admit it's way more is much higher in your community than any other community. All right. Thank you so much, Arash. Wait, Iran should be Arash gave with a super chat saying Iran should become Zoroastrian again, make Iran great again. I don't think Iran will become. Iran already has a lot of respect for Zoroastrianism, but I don't think Iranians are going to convert. Most Iranians are not going to convert to Zoroastrianism. They're just going to respect it and respect and love its symbols and its tradition and its rituals without actually converting to Zoroastrianism.
Remember what you told me about it? That it's like a thing about truth is very important.
Yes, exactly.
That side of it will be respect. I think will be respected.
Yes. Oh yes, the teachings, the positive teachings of Zoroastrianism will be remembered and talked about, especially the obsession with truth. The obsession with truth. Zoroastrianism
Good
is
philosophy.
With truth. Good philosophy. Yes. But I think like Iranian people will stay. I know a lot of people you could disagree with me here, but I think the dominant belief in Iran, it will, as an atheist, I'm not going to say it's atheism. Okay, atheism will be around 20%, but I think the dominant view in Iran will be belief in God without having any religion. That would be the dominant. It's already the dominant view, and it will remain the dominant view for the foreseeable future. Like people, if you ask them, do you believe in God? They will say yes. If you ask them, you're Muslim, Christian, Jew, like, nope, not a Muslim, not a Christian, not a Jew, just believe in God. That would be the dominant view.
Like secularism, a type of faith-based secularism that's not a particular faith. Like you would say majority would be seeking secularism, even if that's not a religion.
No, so secularism would be the political view, and even people who are Muslim in Iran want secularism. So you could be a Muslim and want secularism, meaning that I'm a Muslim, but I don't want an Islamic government. And I think the vast majority of even Muslim Iranians would want secularism, right? But personally, what you believe in, so secularism is like, keep religion out of politics, right? But personally, what you believe in, I think the number one view will be, second would be Muslims who want secularism, but the first one would be people who are just believe in God but don't have any religion, and atheists would be, I think, the third.
But I would have a question about this, because I believe that the majority, even if they do believe in some kind of God, would say, okay, I don't believe in a specific God, but I believe in the secularist view that you have a right to believe in whatever God you want. Like my God, even though I don't have a tight frame for it, I'm sure that my God doesn't want me to tell you what to believe.
Oh yeah. That's why they believe in secularism, meaning that they mean that you should be able to practice your religion, but I don't believe in it. I also do think so many people have a hatred for Islam. Okay, but we're not gonna endorse laws that forces people not to be Muslim. I think most people are not going to do that, especially because Princess of Pahlavi doesn't want to do that. So Iranian people will follow that. Does that make sense?
It does. To the person that super chatted about the channel, I followed it. I'll keep an eye out.
Oh, you the Prometheus one? Oh, that
I'll
was a
send it
channel.
to you.
Okay. Thank you for the recommendation. It was Casey.
Appreciate you, homie.
Yes. Justin, thank you so much for the super chat, saying Talmud is essentially like the message translation of the Bible, the message purely commentary, the message translation. So commentary on the Talmud and other things. It's not just it's a commentary on, so it's not just commentary on the Talmud, it's commentary while referring to the Talmud sometimes. Right? It's commentary on the Talmud and commentary on other things while using the Talmud as your support. Right.
I just know it's kind of like ancient Reddit, because I heard it from a blue Jew known as Nuxiner, wherever you are, sending you blessings, Nux.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, let me remove that. Mr. Pickled, thank you so much for the sticker. Appreciate that. And Jagatai with a super chat saying, Armin, I was referring to Suzanne Ibn Majah 3992. What is that? What is this? Do you know what this is?
No, but he's usually great, so we should probably check it out.
Okay, I will. Oh my god, computer! Why is my computer slow? I will run it, and we'll go to the next commentary if it lets me. You know what I know?
By the
I
way,
know
you
why
guys
it's
have
not
been
letting me,
great.
because it's my.
Thank you for the super chats.
Okay, my computer. I need to close some tabs. We'll close some tabs so we don't have to deal with me slowing that. Am I freezing probably? Right? Let me just, sorry guys, bear with me while I close some tabs so I'm not freezing like this and my computer is not this slow. You know what? I need to upgrade my computer.
More RAM.
More RAM. I heard they're kind of expensive these days.
Oh my god.
All right, there we go.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. All right. Oh, this is Hadith. So, okay, so I think you're talking about Hadith. Hadith predicts the Abrahamic faith will fracture with Islam splitting into 70. Oh, okay. So you're talking about Sunnah. Why did I read that as Suzanne? Sunnah. Okay. So it's a Hadith. Okay, so you're talking about Sunnah, the Hadith 3992. Sorry guys, I don't know why I read that wrong. Sunnah means the way of the Prophet. So this is Hadith 3992, which is basically Islamic scripture, predicts the Abrahamic faith will fracture with Islam splitting into 73 sects, where 72 are condemned to hell. It is a foundational text used by competing groups to claim absolute religious orthodoxy and condemn ideological rivals. So, guys, even in Islamic scripture, it says that most Muslims are going to go to hell. There's going to be 73 different sects in Islam. One of them is going to go to heaven. 72 will go to hell. So most Muslims are going to go to hell. So there is a 1 in 70. There's 72 and 73, 72 over 73 chance that you're going to go to hell if you're a Muslim, depending on what sect you are in.
I think I know why we read it as Susan. We miss Susie. Susie's great, awesome. Hope
Susie,
wherever
yes.
you are, blessings and good wishes.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Isn't that like damning? Like most Muslim, like Islam thinks that non-Muslims are going to go to hell, but also most Muslims.
It allows you to fight with your own people and say, no, you're the wrong kind.
You know what? Actually, now that you say that, let me show you something, guys. This just happened. You know, the city of Karbala in Iraq, right? Is basically the most important city for Shias, more important than Mecca. And pilgrimage to Karbala for Shias is more important than pilgrimage to the Kaaba. That's how important it is. They would I don't know if they would admit it. They probably won't. But now that Jagatai, now that you mentioned that hadith, let me show you what that looks like in real life, because this just happened, which is very relevant to the hadith that you just showed us. So in Karbala, everybody that is coming for pilgrimage there is Shia. Sunnis don't go to Karbala, right? So here, look at this. There's this guy. So these are Shirazi sects in Shia Islam versus the Khamenei sect in Shia Islam, right? So in Karbala, the Shias there, the Khamenei supporter, the guardian of the jurist Islamic Republic supporting Shias over there, they saw the supporters of Shirazi Shias and the Shirazi sect, and they hate each other. So there was a fight against each other, and both sides are Shia. Both sides are 12er Shias. Like, this is not like 12er Shia versus another form of Shia, right? Like versus Ismaili or some other Shia. These are both sides are 12er Shias. Both sides think Ali is the first Imam, the Mahdi is the 12th Imam that is coming. Both believe in Hassan, Hussein, Fatima, Muhammad, Quran. But the problem is that one side believes in Khamenei and the other side believes in Shirazi as their Maja Taqlid. And look how embarrassing this is. Even if you're Shia, they're fighting. And this is the police over there trying to hit them with
They're
batons.
taking his baton.
So they're chanting Khamenei, Khamenei against the Shirazi ones. But it was a huge fight, and the police was there trying to separate them. But yeah, they can't get along. These are your guys.
I don't
these
think
are
they have
your-
enough police.
Yeah, they don't. So this is what the Jew hater supports. Yeah. Let's hate that. Yeah, let's hate that together in peace. Like, no. Like, guys, you think like people in the West think like, oh, Muslims fighting, so Shias on one side against Sunnis on the other side. No. That is too simplistic. We have Sunni against Sunni, we have Shia against Shia, Shia against Shia. That's even too simplistic. We have 12er Shia Islam versus 12er Shia Islam, just because their marja is different. Even if everything else is the same, their marja is different, and they're fighting with each other.
That's like having Catholics fighting over which bishop should they follow.
Yes, exactly. It's not Catholic versus Protestant. It's Catholic versus Catholic over who's the bishop that we should be following, something like that, and hitting each other because of it. Yeah.
Very violent, very Durka.
Yes. And then Casey with the super chat saying they showed the brilliant steps Scotty B is doing. Oh, on the channel that Casey is recommending. The Prometheus.
That's Scotty
what was
Besson.
it?
Yeah, it's great. Pretty brilliant guy.
Nice. Thank you, Casey. Thank you for the recommendation. And then the Jew hater is saying protect the children against Muhammad sallallahu alayhi. All right. Yes. Protect your children against Islam. Islam is dangerous for children. Protect them. And yeah, and shame on you for supporting a child abusing rapist, pedophile prophet. It's embarrassing. And also look at this, how every time you come here I embarrass your religion. Look at this. These are your people. You can't you come here and defend like the Muslim community, the ummah. You need to protect your ummah from the ummah. Jagatai with the super chat saying no one knows Islam's dark underbelly more than ex-Muslims. True. True 100%.
You know, I came to know this apostate through another apostate prophet. I love apostates. Great people.
Yes, good people. Thank you.
If they keep going like this, they're going to be 11er instead of 12er.
Oh my God, there's so many different kinds of Shias. They have Alawites, we have the Ismailis. There's so many of them, right? But even among the 12ers, we still have infighting. And then Mr. Pickled with a super chat saying, my family fled Yemen because of, what is this? Orphan's decree? What do you know what that is?
I don't understand this, but I think it might have something to do with Islam. I know that Muhammad was an orphan, but like something about orphans. I'm not sure about this, but I have heard this talked about.
Okay, but he's in Israel, so that's a very interesting story because look at them. His currency is shekels, and Yemen used to have Jews in there, but now it has like no Jews are there because it's an apartheid. So I got it. It's the Orphans Decree of 1922. This was a law in Yemen requiring Jewish orphaned children, those whose fathers had died, to be forcibly taken from their communities and converted to Islam. Many Yemenite Jewish families fled the country or smuggled their children out to protect them from this law. So the Orphans Decree of 1922. Wow. That's what you've been through. Yes. So that's why he's in Israel, because of that decree. He's from Yemen, and now he or she is a Jewish Yemeni, and now he's in Israel. They fled Yemen, and now they're in Israel. Yeah, they were Shia. Yeah, Yemenis were Shia. Yeah, the Yemenis were Shia. And well, happy for you. Happy that you actually managed to get away from that hell. Sorry that happened to you and your family. That must have been hell. Yeah, Zaidi. The sect of Shia Islam that the Houthis are in is not 12er Shia Islam. It's Zaidi. Yes, at least they are alive. Yeah. Good job escaping that hell. Sorry that you had to go through that. Justin with a super chat saying, I believe Christian, Jews, and Zoroastrians worship the same God. Elam was the grandson of Noah, and Abraham was like the great nephew of Elam. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the super chat. There is another statement before, like, I wanted to make sure that we don't forget to play this. This was President Trump in the plane. I think it was in the plane. Mikey, tell me what you think about this audio message, right? So they asked President Trump if he's moving his troops, if he's going to move the troops out, because a lot of people are worried about this. Oh, where's the audio? Oh, yeah, there we go. That's the problem.
Sir, there's a report that you're moving U.S. troops out of Bahrain and Kuwait. Are troops being moved out of the Middle East? Mr. President. Sir, there's a...
His response, did you hear that? He said, I don't want to comment on that. So we can't make much of that, obviously. But do you think there's a chance that he's just going to move the troops out? What are the chances?
It's pressure. It's pressure. This is like, if you move your troops out, you have no reason to defend there. It's like, okay, you guys want a deal? You guys want a deal? Okay, I'll get the fuck out of here and let you guys kill each other. All right, you want a deal? You want to keep the IRGC? Keep it. You want them to control your strait? I'll get out of here. I'll get out of here. I bombed. I tried to deal with you. I tried to get you on this table, but all you want to do is deal and deal and deal. You know what? I'll get all my people out of here. How about that? How about I get all my people out of here, and you can deal with Iran and their nukes and their biological weapons forevermore, because you want a deal, right? I'm going to start pulling troops out. And then you can stick it out alone. See how you do against, see if you can get NATO to help you. See if you're going to get the France and the UK to help you. I'll take my troops and go. I'm sick of the games.
Yeah, but that would be devastating, though, if then the Islamic Republic, the military operations that would be required would be delayed by a lot, right? Like, that's not what we want, right? Yeah. All right. We got two super chats. Justin saying, God goes by many descriptive names. Ahura Mazda means God of light. Ahura Mazda means the Lord of wisdom. Ahura Mazda means the light, right? Let me see.
Ahura Mazda is, I think, Zoroastrian. I know. I do know about is Mazda. Great cars. I used to have one.
The word Mazda comes from Ahura Mazda, the god in Zoroastrianism. That's where they got it from.
I think also the symbol that has kind of like a circle and wings is also kind of like an ode or a reference to Zoroastrianism.
Yeah, of course. Yes, that's the most famous Zoroastrian symbol. Ahura Mazda is the god in Zoroastrianism, and Ahura Mazda means the Lord of wisdom. And let me just give you interesting note about the name Ahura Mazda. An interesting fun fact. Ferdowsi, the poet that wrote Shahnameh, which is the book that the Iranian people revere the most. So you know the Jihad Durka people, they revere Quran and Nahj al-Balagha as the most important books. The Iranian people, Shahnameh. Shahnameh was a book written by Ferdowsi, the poet Ferdowsi. So he starts his he wrote that poetry book after Islam took over Iran, but he wrote it without using any Arabic words. And a lot of people credit that book to saving the Persian language because you know Lebanon's language became Arabized, Iraq became Arabized, Egypt became Arabized, but Iran kept its language, the Persian language. And a lot of people think Ferdowsi, he used ancient Iranian legends and stories from before Islam in Iran, and he retold those stories in his own words, in his own poetry, and he made sure that he doesn't use any Arabic words in his book, Shahnameh. And many people say that he was a secret Zoroastrian because he couldn't say that he's Zoroastrian because that would be punishable by death. But in his book, in his poetry book, he leaves a lot of clues that he just at least respects Zoroastrianism. And one of the ways is that he starts not with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, his poems, he starts with Bename Khudavand Jan Kharad, which is basically means in the name of the God of wisdom, like partly it means that. And a lot of people say that the reason why he's saying that is because he's referring to Ahura Mazda, the God in Zoroastrianism, not Allah, which is the God in Islam. So
I think it's cool. Like overall, like I've made art about it even long before I got into this stuff. I've always thought the artwork is cool, the kind of like the Angramanyu and Ahura Mazda and all this stuff. I love art, so I kind of always got into that part of it. But I think it's just cool too.
yeah. So Ahura means like Lord or divinity, and Mazda means wisdom or intelligence. So Ahura Mazda means like the Lord of wisdom. So see, like that religion, Zoroastrianism, like really is obsessed with the truth and wisdom. The God is the most important commandment is like to not lie, and the God itself is the God of wisdom. Guys, yeah, I know you keep joking about Mazda being a car. Mazda, yeah, I get it. They got that name from Zoroastrianism. Like if you go look at it. Another fun fact: Game of Thrones. There's a religion there with Lord of Light, I think, isn't there? I forgot the name of that religion. So R.R. Martin, George R.R. Martin, he got that religion from Zoroastrianism. So in Game of Thrones is also was inspired by Zoroastrianism, the fire religion. Yes, exactly. Okay. And Amir with 5 membership gifts. Thank you so much, Amir. Thank you. Amir always supporting us with a gift basket, always has our back. Appreciate you guys. Oh yeah, the Lord of Light. Yes, you guys are saying. Thank you. And then we got Zipgun with a super chat saying so many stories of expulsion to Israel from the Middle East before 1948 shows that the claim that there was peace before Israel is a lie. Yes, we have apartheid all over the Middle East. The one place we don't have apartheid is Israel. You know, because it's so easy to figure this out. Are there Muslims in Israel? Yes, 20%. Are there Arabs in Israel? Yes, 20%. Do they have the same rights? Yes, they do. Sometimes they have more rights. Are there Jews, outside of Israel? There used to be a lot. Most of them fled. Why did they fled? Why did they flee? Where did they go? They went to Israel. The minority there who are left are living as second-class citizens, or most of them, their wealth and everything was taken away from them. They were killed many times. And the numbers of Jews, this is genocide. Like Jews, the Jewish population in all of these Arab and Muslim countries being reduced to close to basically getting close to none is genocide. And the fact that the Jews had to flee means that all of these places are apartheid. So the one place that is not an apartheid is Israel in the Middle East. and the one place that genocide was not happening, the one group of people, the one government, one state that was not doing genocide in the Middle East, the only one that was not doing genocide in the Middle East was Israel. Also, another thing this shows is that Israel is not, people think like Israel is just white Ashkenazi Jews that went from Europe to Israel. That most people, it's interesting because a lot of these leftist people who keep telling us that we're racist, they're actually the racist ones, because they don't even see the half of Jews that came from the Middle East, like the Middle Eastern Jews, the Mizrahi Jews. They always talk about Israel like Israel is a white country because they want to make Israel look to be evil. So 50% of Israel came from Europe, and these are like white Ashkenazi Jews that look European. And this is why leftists want to make Israel look like it's a white extension of white European country, and they completely ignore the other 50% that came from the Middle East, that are like more brown Middle Eastern looking people, or like just Middle Eastern looking, and they completely ignore that they're half of Israel, like the Mizrahi Jews. Because if they admit that half of Israel came from the Middle East and from other countries, from in Africa and other places, then they have to accept that Israel is a more diverse country than they want to pretend. They want to pretend that all of Israel just came from Europe.
Yes.
Thank you, Zipcon.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then we got Jagatai with a super chat saying, "You'll like India's national motto, Satyameva Jayate." Okay, what is that? What is that? Probably gonna like his. Okay, well, I looked that up. Let me thank Kevin. Kevin, thank you so much for the membership. Cappy. Like, Monkey, Kevin is Cappy. So from now on, remember that if you can. Cappy. So he was.
I'll try. No promises.
He was a nurse in the military. Thank you, and thank you for your service. And then we got another super chat by Tarun saying, "Oh my God, we are they still trying to create their own Aryan Dravidian divide for Israel just to defame it and glorify Palestine is obnoxious." Do you understand this? Translate this. Hold on, let me actually.
Aryan Dravidian. I don't know what an Aryan Dravidian is, but I know that people like to say that Ashkenazi Jews aren't real Jews and the real Jews are the Sephardic. I've heard that kind of like discussion before, and I don't stand by it. I don't care how you say you're a Jew. You say you're a Jew. Okay, you're a Jew. Did you convert? Okay, you're a Jew. Is it by blood? Okay, you're a Jew. I don't like that. What I care about is, are you a Marxist? That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm a Christian, fine. Atheist, great. Whatever you want to be whatever you want to be. Just don't be a Marxist, or be a Marxist. I'm not going to support you though. You know what I mean?
So here's what this means. Okay, so the commentator is frustrated that people are trying to force an artificial racial or ethnic divide narrative onto the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, comparing it to India's political Aryan versus Dravidian divide. They believe this fake narrative is being pushed purely to criticize Israel and praise Palestine, which they find highly annoying. Okay, thank you. I agree then. I 100% agree. And thank you for the super chat. And Jagatai, let's go back to Jagatai, which gave us super chat, because now I have the answer. So this is derived from ancient Mundaka Upanishad. So this is Satyameva Jayate, means truth alone triumphs, and represents universal cosmic righteousness. Yeah, I like that. Truth alone triumphs, or the truth shall set you free, or seems like there's a lot of appreciation for truth. I like that. I like that people celebrating truth. Oh, why did I stop sharing President Trump? Let's put this back up here. And then we got another super chat over here by Justin. Justin saying, I guess the person that told me about Zoroastrianism used wisdom interchangeably with light. She also told me they believe they can receive his spirit. I haven't heard about receiving spirit, but yeah, a lot of people see light as, wisdom, because light, reveals things, and wisdom also reveals things. So sometimes people use light in
Enlightenment?
exchange for wisdom. Yeah, exactly. Enlightenment. That's a good one. I do want us to watch this for a second. Hold on.
Wants to end this the way he wants to end it and not the way Netanyahu wants to end it.
But he did say no new wars. Over and over.
But he didn't start this one. People say he started it. Look, Iran's been at war with us for a long time, and he did take out Salman.
Iran's been at war with us. How many U.S. citizens has Iran killed on U.S. soil in their 47
Well, how many
years?
soldiers have they killed?
And why were our soldiers in the Middle East to begin with?
Okay.
How many Americans have they killed on U.S.
that's
soil?
Oh, stop it.
No. How many, for the people who chant death to America for 47 years, how many U.S. citizens have they killed on U.S. soil?
Okay.
How many on U.S. soil, Hal?
So that's all
It's
that
an easy
counts?
answer. You
They
should
can
know it.
kill
Or is it like
Americans all
Ted
over the
Cruz where you don't
world?
know the population of Iran?
Wow.
How many U.S.
Wow.
citizens have they
Okay.
killed on U.S. soil?
I don't know the answer to that. I would guess it's
It's
low.
0.
But I don't think that's the telltale test. I don't think you have to kill us on our soil. If you're killing us overseas, you're killing.
Why are we
you're killing
overseas
US
to begin
citizens.
with?
Are we really
Why
going
are
to go
our
into
soldiers in
global
the Middle East to
politics on
begin
why
with?
we're overseas? I don't think we have.
We were talking about our.
We're overseas because
why were they in the
you wanna
Middle
know why?
East to
Because
begin
of
with?
oil.
And point to
Because
one
of oil.
Middle
Let's
Eastern
just-
country we've made
because of
better by
oil.
our involvement
Because
over
of
there.
oil. We know why we're there. It's because of oil.
What do you mean because of oil?
We need to protect our interests in oil. Period. We
Then
know
maybe
it.
we should open the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before this war started, and we could open right now if we just left, which is an honest
Wow.
strait.
You okay?
I
You're
think
for
Israel
Iran having
has
a nuclear
shown
weapon.
a
Got it.
remarkable. Oh, Iran doesn't need a nuclear weapon now because they have learned that they don't need one.
I don't like this. I don't like this. Just letting this bitch run her fucking mouth, and I can't say anything about it. Like, let me stop this shit because she just.
I
talking
didn't-
Shit.
I
Oh my
didn't hear
God.
you. Sorry, she's so loud. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ed.
She is very loud. Okay, so there's a few things that are that like right from the first thing she does is make it about on U.S. soil. Now, if anybody would tell her, okay, is it okay to kill Egyptians as long as it's not on Egyptian soil? She would, is it okay to kill Yemenis as long as it's not on Yemeni soil? Is it okay to kill Africans as long as it's not in African soil? This is what you have to tell these people. Number one. Number two, well, why were we there? I don't care why. I don't give a damn why. You don't kill us anywhere. Do you think it's okay to, are you going to ask the reason that the Yemeni was killed outside of Yemeni soil? Are you going to ask the reason why the African was killed outside African soil? Are you going to apply the same standard? Or are you just going to virtue signal? Because you don't go to war anywhere. You stay here and you live your privileged little life, right? And because you lived your privileged little life, you think you can come over here from your entitled privileged little life and talk down to anyone that actually steps out of the country and does a job. So this is the problem. The problem is that we let these people, we give them footing when we pretend that their arguments matter. I don't care why. I don't care why. How many on U.S. soil? How many anywhere? Because any American killed anywhere is a problem. Are you saying it's okay for any? Like I said, they wouldn't do this for any other country. It's absolute bullshit. Why are you? Is it okay to go back in time to previous engagement to say, oh, that's because of the things we did to them in the past? Oh, so what we do to them in the past matters. But what they do to us in the past doesn't matter. Is that how it works? Because we had a deal with the people in Lebanon, and the IRGC attacked us in Beirut. Their operatives attacked us in Beirut. They aren't a part of Lebanon, so we get to be attacked there. And we can't talk about that, but she can talk about any type of intervention we had in the past somewhere else, and it makes it our fault. This is ridiculous double standard. And as this fucking soldier, it makes me furious. It like really gets my blood boiling. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna finish this with you and your commentary, and then I'm going to go back, and then I would like the opportunity to respond to it after you're done with all your points. Okay, so let's go
It's
through
like
this.
they get a lot of stuff through. Like if you don't like or
No,
write
yes.
it down, I guess I could get a note and note it down.
No,
but-
no. I want you to do what you're doing. Like, tell me where to stop. I mean, it's
I'm
really
doing
hard
good.
to hear you. She's like really loud. But I'll try to look at your mouth, so you keep responding to it. But then after that, it's my turn. Okay.
For sure.
What do you mean because of oil?
We need to protect our interests in oil, period. We
Then
know
maybe
it.
we should open the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before this war started, and we could open right now if we just left, which is in our
Wow.
interest.
So you're okay.
I
You're
think
for
Israel
Iran
Stop.
to nuclear
Stop.
own
weapon.
a
Got it.
remarkable.
You say
That's
something?
a lie. That's a lie because she knows that the IRGC is putting a toll on it and trying to put a toll on it, and to say that it would be open is a lie because it would not go back to what it was. It will never go back to what it was under the IRGC because the IRGC wants to put a toll system, and it's basically that this is an absolute lie. If we leave, there's going to be a toll there. So she's literally lying.
Right.
Iran doesn't need a nuclear weapon now because they have learned that they don't need one. They've now learned through this war. By the way, Iran, a nuclear weapon, let me just dismantle that talking point really quick. The 18 U.S. intelligence agencies in our country.
We're back to those.
Back to those.
Well, that's what.
What is
told us
that supposed to
well,
mean?
because
Back
they told
to
us
those.
that Saddam
Whose
Hussein
intel
had
do you
massive
trust?
weapons
Wait
of
a
mass
minute,
destruction.
wait a minute. What 18 intelligence agencies have anything to do with looking at exactly what's in Iran? I don't know what she's talking about. She's not making any sense. 18 intelligence agencies. Is she talking about some report from 10 years ago? I don't even
saying
know how
that
you
the
get to
people-
18.
She's saying the same. I think she's talking about that they're giving us wrong information because we went to Iraq because they said that Saddam has weapons of mass destruction and he didn't. That's what I think she's referring to.
All right, let's see.
Who were the 18 intelligence agencies you're about to quote? Go ahead.
That is,
Okay.
it wasn't the intel agencies, it was the politicians. No, let me be clear.
What were you
It
going to say
wasn't
about
the
that?
intel, it wasn't the intel agencies that lied about that. It was the politicians like your old friend Ted Cruz that believed those lies and got us into those wars. And it was President Trump who campaigned on being different. And that's a separate thing I'm going to get into. But the 18 U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon, and that has not changed during the course of this war. However, what has changed
That's a lie.
is that
That's
Iran has now
an
learned.
absolute lie. That's an absolute lie. That's like saying, well, this person is at their house, therefore they could never be anywhere else later ever. Like just because you're not doing something in the past, because you were stopped in the past, that doesn't mean you're not going to try again in the future. Now, she's not going to go over how many times the Iranian regime's nuclear weapons program has been stopped. But anyone that knows anything about nuclear deterrence in the past knows that Iranian agents have been stopped all over the world by many countries. And there's been attacks. There's been assassinations of their nuclear scientists. We had a whole virus that was created to stop their nuclear program called Stuxnet. So to say that that was never true, and it's like saying, okay, this person got a ticket for speeding. Oh, what are you saying? He's always speeding? No, but we caught him speeding 20 times. This guy is not a good driver because every time you give him a car, he starts speeding. Look at all these tickets we have here. We have 20 tickets. We need to revoke this guy's license. Oh, you always say the same thing, but we have evidence and receipts for all the times that this guy was stopped for speeding. We need to take their license. It's the same kind of analogy. If we had to stop their nuclear program 18 times, this guy is obviously, anytime he gets a hold of it, he's going to try to build a weapon because that's what he's been doing for the last 40 years. Do you think that's a good analogy?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm going to go through all of this nonsense by her after all of this is done. But yeah, so far I agree with you.
They don't need a nuclear weapon because they can behave like a nuclear power without ever needing to be one, because they can just close the Strait of Hormuz if and when they ever want. And they have learned what China has learned, which is that You're never going to beat the U.S. military militarily. You beat us economically.
Last
so
quick, all right,
let's just dismantle that.
Last quick point on.
Wants to.
Now I'm going to say last
right.
quick point. She's right about that. She's right about them not needing a nuclear weapon. It is a boomer take to think that the danger that the Islamic regime poses is only nuclear. If you leave the Islamic regime power, they will become like China, but not economically. They'll release a Wuhan like China. Like they could give up the dust, let you inspect all the nuclear sites you want, dismantle their nuclear, even energy production, just to get you off their back and do something far, far worse to control the region.
All right. Can I respond to all of this by myself?
It's your turn. Go for it.
Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to share the things I know about. By the way, I agree with everything the monkey said. That was very well put. I just wanted to also give you my side of things and tell me if you agree or disagree with any of it. Okay.
Wants to end this the way he wants to end it and not the way Netanyahu wants to end it.
But he did say no new wars. Over and over.
But he didn't.
Yeah, so we already responded to this many times. The Islamic Republic declared war against the United States 47 years ago. They have been chanting death to America for 47 years. They have killed more Americans than any existing regime. They're moving the goalposts because these people didn't know that. They say like they didn't know the Islamic Republic has been killing Americans for the past 47 years. And now that they have learned that actually has killed more Americans than any other existing regime, they're now changing that on American soil as if that matters, as Mikey mentioned, as if that matters. So they not only that, the Islamic Republic has made it clear for the past 47 years that they intend to destroy United States at some point, that everything they do is for the sake of destroying Israel and then United States. And also the embassy, the hostages that the Islamic Republic took right after the first year after the revolution was done without United States doing anything against the Islamic Republic. The United States back then, right after the Shah fell, the Americans tried their best to actually have a normal relationship with the new regime. And the regime, what they did instead is they went and took the staff at the embassy hostage completely unprovoked. The United States was not only at that time, the Carter administration was actually even helping the mullahs and betrayed the Shah. And instead of thank you, the Khomeini regime took all of the American staff at the embassy, U.S. embassy in Tehran hostage. That was the first thing that they did. So they started it. You have been at war with the Islamic Republic for 47 years and you didn't know it. And only every time you learn a new thing about your own history, you keep moving the goalposts.
Over and over.
But he didn't start this one. People say he started it. Look, Iran's been at war with us for a long time, and he did take out Salman.
Iran's been at war with us. How many U.S. citizens has Iran killed on U.S. soil in their 47 years?
How many soldiers have they killed?
And why were our soldiers in the Middle East?
Yeah, so thousands. Why are your soldiers in the Middle East? Their soldiers are in the Middle East. Again, I know this is a distraction, but I do want to answer for people here, not for the sake of responding to her, but for people who want to know this. The whole world should be thankful to Americans for not just being in the Middle East, but being everywhere. Because the reason why your soldiers are in the Middle East, because no other country has the ability to provide global security. No other country, and most countries don't have the balls or the courage or the moral standards that the Americans have and the American soldiers have. The American soldiers sacrifice their lives to protect the United States, and we, the rest of the world, are lucky enough for that to mean that they provide stability for the rest of us as well. The reason why American soldiers are in the Middle East is the same reason why American soldiers are in Japan, in Korea, in Germany, everywhere in the world. Everywhere they are is because nobody has the ability to maintain global security, and we all need we need to maintain global security everywhere on the planet, because if we don't, none of our lives are possible without the safety and security and the stability that U.S. military provides for international trade. everything that you see around you, just look around you, just sit back and look at your phone, look at your glass, look at your computer, look at your TV, look at all of these would not be possible without current global maritime trade, and the current level of global maritime trade would not be possible without the security and stability that the US military is providing all around the world. It's not just Americans' lives that would be at a completely, we would be so behind, like everybody would be poorer. We wouldn't have, nobody would be able to live like the way they are. Nobody, I'm not just talking about Americans, nobody on earth would be able to have the lives that they have right now if it wasn't because of the US military being present around the world. In fact, instead of complaining about this, instead of complaining about this, we should be thanking Americans for providing the stability everywhere in the world, because nobody is fighting. The only other countries that are fighting evil as much as United States is, I mean, relative to what they can, is Israel and Ukraine. But they are not as big as United States, so they're not going to be able to do it at that scale. But at least they are doing something. At least they are, contributing, unlike most other countries that are not even doing what they can be doing. But if you don't like Americans being present all around the world, then you should be thanking President Trump, because he's the one because you cannot just take Americans away from everywhere they are. It will cause international chaos. It will break the whole world order that we're living in, that we're all benefiting from. It will break everything. If you want the Americans to not be the main contributors to world peace and security, then you should be doing what President Trump is doing. You should be pushing for other countries to spend more of their GDP on their military and contributing to global stability. Because if more of US allies, because if you don't encourage US allies to do that, then the replacement is going to be the CCP. And the world is not going to be a better place if the CCP is maintaining global order, because they're not going to be maintaining the global order that is making the world a better place. It's going to be maintaining a new global order that is against all our interests. It's going to be CCP's global order. We don't want that. So if you want Americans to pull back from being the sole guarantors of global security in most places on earth, then do what President Trump is doing. Push Japan, push South Korea, push Taiwan, push Ukraine, push Europe, push NATO member countries to spend more of their GDP on security, so that they could partner, so that they could contribute. So it's not always just dependent on Americans. But the answer is not to pull everyone out. If you pull everyone out, the whole world will break apart. Who's gonna keep things secure? Nobody can do that. So this is a long-term investment, and it requires a slow, gradual removal of United States with the push on these countries, with the pressure on these countries. Why do you think President Trump is trying to push Arab countries into the Abrahamic Accord? Why do you think, like, we're going to in Ukraine, we're going from, I don't know, giving charity to Ukraine instead of doing that, selling to Ukraine and investing and getting Ukraine to invest in their military? Look at the results. Look at what the Ukraine is able to do when they're becoming more and more self-reliant. I mean, I think this is why it makes sense. Israelis are also coming to this agreement that it's better for United States and Israel to have more military cooperation rather than the discount the United States gives to Israel. Instead of that, there's more of investments, more cooperation, so that Israel becomes more self-reliant. Taiwan needs to become more self-reliant. Ukraine needs to be more self-reliant. Arab countries in the Middle East need to go under the security umbrella of Israel, which is hence we have the Abrahamic Accords. Those are the type of policies that will eventually get the world to not constantly depend and leech off of the US military. It's not fair to America. It's not fair to American taxpayers. But at the end of the day, there's no other option. Right now, at least.
To begin with.
Okay.
How many Americans have they killed on U.S. soil?
So that's allowed? They're allowed to kill soldiers in the Middle East?
No.
Yeah. So how many Americans have they killed on U.S. soil? So American lives don't matter if they're not on U.S. soil. Great.
How many, for the people who chant death to America for 47 years, how many U.S. citizens have they killed on U.S. soil?
Okay.
Why is it on U.S. soil? Why do you have to be let's even agree that, let's even assume that this is a wrong policy. Let's even assume that, you shouldn't have been there. Okay, so what? They killed Americans. They killed Americans. You don't care about them because they were deployed there, and you disagree with their deployment. You disagree with their deployment there, so it's okay to kill them.
How many on U.S. soil, Hal?
So that's all.
And also, the only reason why they haven't killed any Americans on U.S. soil is not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. They can't yet. And I promise you that they're moving towards that. Their goal is to build biological weapons and then distribute that to their sleeper cells in the United States, all across the United States, so they could use it as a deterrence and control over the United States. So they're going to get there. And I promise you that once they get there, they're going to use it so that they could show that they have this ability and they have more of it. So, well, they haven't killed Americans on U.S. So let's even assume. I mean, I don't want to, but let's even assume it only matters if they kill Americans on U.S. soil. Well, they're trying to move towards, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait until they actually manage to kill Americans, on U.S. soil before you react to it? Like, again, it's a ridiculous thing to say on U.S. soil as if that's the only thing that mattered. But even in her evil world that she lives in, even if that was the only thing that mattered, would it be smart for you to just stay back and wait until it happens before you respond? What do you want to do? You want Americans to die, or do you want to prevent Americans dying?
It's an easy answer. You should know it. Or is it like Ted Cruz, where you don't know the population of Iran?
Wow.
How many U.S. citizens have they killed on?
Or is it like Ted Cruz that you don't know the population of Iran? Why would you need to know the population of Iran for you to know what the best strategy is? Like, I don't understand. Like, you have an opinion over like the population. You have an opinion over what the strategy should be over Iraq. You have been making a comment about Iraq. You've been commenting about Syria. You've been commenting about Lebanon. Do you know do you go and memorize the populations of countries to be able to have an opinion about it? Like, that was such a stupid thing that, by the way, that Tucker Carlson did. Like, do you know the population of Iran? Okay, so do I need to know the population of Soviet Union when Stalin was alive to be able to know Stalin was evil and it was a good thing? Do I need to know that the Soviet Union was an evil empire? Do I need to know the population of the Soviet Union when the Soviet Empire fell for me to know that was should I, if I say Nazi Germany was bad, what was the population of Germany when Nazi Germany was in power? I don't know. So you have an opinion over Nazi Germany and you don't know the population of Germany when Nazi Germany was in power? Who the fuck cared? Why do I need to know that to be able to know what the right policy is?
U.S. soil.
I don't know the answer to that. I would guess it's low,
0.
but I don't think that's the telltale test. I don't think you have to kill us on our soil. If you're killing us overseas, you're killing.
Why are we overseas?
She's saying it's 0. There has been many assassination attempts at to kill American citizens on U.S. soil. You know why they failed? Because the United States has good police and good intelligence. So do you know, lady, do you know the number of assassination attempts of Americans on U.S. soil by the Islamic Republic? Do you know? Because that number is not 0. The number is 0. The number of people dying, Americans dying on U.S. soil, is 0 because of America, not because of the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic has tried.
To begin with.
Are we really going to go into global politics on why we're overseas? I don't think we have. We're talking about
We're overseas because why were they in the Middle East to begin with? And point to one Middle Eastern.
Okay, it's not just because of oil. It's because of everything. Everything. We're in the Middle East because of oil. You're everywhere. Your military is everywhere on the planet, not because of oil trade, not because of energy trade. It's because of all trade. It's the backbone of economy. Everything. Computer chips, oil, gas, corn, rice, meat, everything. Steel. Everything that all our lives are built on. It's not just because of oil. Maintaining security and safety for global trade is for trading everything, is the backbone of economy. It's not just oil. Just because in the Middle East there's more oil, it doesn't make it all about oil. Everyone's lives depends on economy, and the economy growing, and economy growing depends on global trade, maintaining global trade at the levels that is only possible with their level of risk reduction that U.S. military makes possible. It's not just oil.
Country we've made better by our involvement
Because
over
of
there.
oil. We know why we're there. It's because of oil.
What do you mean because of oil?
We need.
It's not oil. It's because of the economy. And you know what the economy means? It means living. It's because of your lives. It's because everything that you see around you.
To protect our interests in oil, period.
Then maybe we should open the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before this war started, and we could open right now if we just left. Which is
the Strait of Hormuz will be completely shut when the Islamic Republic, if you let the Islamic Republic, this is a sign of things. When you see that what the Islamic Republic is doing at the Strait of Hormuz, which is not shutting the Strait of Hormuz, she's lying. The Strait of Hormuz is not shut. The Islamic Republic is attempting to shut the Strait of Hormuz, and they're failing at it. It's not completely open, but it's also not completely shut. So no, she's wrong. She's lying. But you know what would actually shut the Strait of Hormuz? Not doing anything. If you didn't do anything, then the Islamic Republic would have a nuclear weapon. Then the Islamic Republic would have biological weapons. Then the Islamic Republic would have 30,000 ballistic missiles. Then the Islamic Republic would have expanded its terrorist proxy networks beyond the Middle East and North Africa and make them stronger and more influential. When you get there, then they will completely shut the Strait of Hormuz, and not even United States would be able to remove them at that point. Not because of the political, not because of the military cost, but because of the political cost. By that time, it would be too costly, and it would be impossible at that point. Politically, it would be impossible. So, if you want the Strait of Hormuz open, what you're seeing is a taste of what would happen 1,000 times more if you just let the Islamic Republic get a nuclear weapon, get biological weapons, increase its deterrence capabilities. I mean, why wouldn't they? If you're seeing that they're trying to close the Strait of Hormuz now, once they get to a deterrence level that nobody would want to attack them anymore, of course, then they would close the Strait of Hormuz. So when you see the Islamic Republic trying to Strait of Hormuz trying to close the Strait of Hormuz now, instead of asking the Americans why they're attacking the Islamic Republic, you should be asking, why didn't they do this sooner? Why didn't you do this at a time where the Islamic Republic was less capable to close the Strait of Hormuz? The criticism for the Americans shouldn't be why they are responding to the war that the Islamic Republic has declared 47 years ago. The criticism of the Americans should be that this should have been done decades ago.
In our interest.
So you're okay.
I think Israel has shown a remarkable. Iran doesn't need a nuclear weapon now because they have learned that they don't need one. They've now learned through this war. By the way, Iran, a nuclear weapon. Let me just.
That is absolute bullshit. Closing this, the attempt to close the Strait of Hormuz has not at all been close to the level of deterrence capability of a nuclear bomb or a biological bomb or the biological weapon. What has happened? Like, guys, do you look at the stock market is going up today? The stock market is up crazy high 20 year over year. The job market is doing amazing. Inflation wasn't as high as people expected. What do you think the world would be like if you saw a mushroom cloud somewhere in the Middle East, somewhere in Israel? If I looked at the news and I saw yep, there was an atomic bomb dropped and I don't know, somewhere in Israel. I don't want to say that, but imagine that. Don't imagine that, right? But what do you think will happen to everyone's lives everywhere on the planet? The whole world will go into a chaos that you guys could never imagine. Everything will start falling apart. Everyone's life will be different the day after. Everybody, everything, the whole global order will collapse. The Strait of Hormuz, they don't need a nuclear weapon because they have the Strait of Hormuz. What did that do? Oil prices didn't even hit $200. Look at the economy. Nobody. It's like what happened? Even the worst countries, even the countries that were harmed the most economically, it's not that bad. It's just this is inconvenient, but it's not like. What did it do? Do you understand the consequences of dropping a nuclear bomb? This is not even comparable. Anyways, let me finish.
Dismantle that talking point really quick. The 18 U.S. intelligence agencies in our country.
Back to those.
Back to those.
Well, that's what.
What is that supposed to mean?
Because
Back
they told
to
us
those.
that Saddam Hussein had massive weapons.
Okay, so she's saying that the intelligence agencies are telling us that that the Islamic Republic was not getting a nuclear bomb. I will tell you that why they were. I will give you the exact detail that no, she's lying. The intelligence agency of the United States were saying that the Islamic Republic right now doesn't have the capability of making nuclear bomb. They're not saying they were. I'll give you absolute proof that the Islamic Republic has always been trying to get a nuclear bomb. Okay.
Mass destruction.
A lie.
I'll tell you.
Well, they were the 18 intelligence agencies you're about to quote. Go ahead.
That is,
Okay.
It wasn't the intel agencies. It was the politicians. No, let me be clear.
What were you
It
going to say
wasn't
about
the
that?
intel. It wasn't the intel agencies that lied about that. It was the politicians like your old friend Ted Cruz that believed those lies and got us into those wars. And it was President Trump who campaigned on being different. And that's a separate thing I'm going to get into. But the 18 U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon, and that has not changed during the course of this war. However, what has changed is that Iran has now learned they don't need a nuclear weapon because they can behave like a nuclear power without ever needing to be one, because they can just close the Strait of Hormuz if and when they ever want. And they have learned what China has learned, which is that you're never going to beat the U.S. military militarily. You beat us economically. Let's just dismantle that.
Last quick point on.
So here's why this is a lie. Go look this up, guys. There was a recording. Acquired prior to May 2008. Okay, this recording captured the nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. You guys, this is why I keep referring to this. A lot of people keep mentioning that, oh, if the Islamic Republic doesn't want a nuclear bomb, why are they enriching up to 60%? Why would they be enriching uranium up to 60%? The only reason why you would enrich up to 60% is if you're trying to build a nuclear bomb. Why would even the Islamic Republic enrich uranium to begin with? It's not like they need the energy. It's not like they're producing any electricity with it. Why are they going through so much sanctions and international pressure for the sake of enriching uranium? Like, no amount of electricity production in a country that has this much oil and gas would justify this much sanction and international pressure. Like, how much have they made from the electricity production from the enriched uranium? Is nothing compared to all the cost from sanctions and the international isolation and the international pressure on them. The only reason why it would make sense for them to keep pushing for enrichment of uranium is that they want a nuclear weapon. It's obvious. It's anybody that tells you otherwise is retarded or evil. But those are arguments. But I don't even need an argument because we have direct evidence. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was the top nuclear scientist of the Islamic Republic, killed by Mossad. Thank you, Mossad, inside Iran. We have audio recording of Fakhrizadeh explicitly stating that the regime requested the production of 5 nuclear warheads. We have audio recordings of Fakhrizadeh saying that, the top nuclear scientist of the Islamic Republic, from 2008. This was played. This audio exists. This is undeniable proof that is out there.
Can I say something right quick?
Yes, of course.
I like it better when you stop and just go off on these people than when you let it play through. That was magnificent. I really love that. You stopping instead of letting it play through, you get so many points more than when you just let it play through. I thought that was fucking beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Monkey. I appreciate you saying that.
I appreciate what you just did right there.
No. Did you disagree with anything? Like any questions or any?
Oh no, not even a little. Okay. I could not agree more. Like if I wanted to agree more, I couldn't because I agree so much.
Let me show you something because I was gonna show you this, but this is the Jews. Look at this, right? So this is like, we can't trust this. These are the Jews. This is the times of Israel. So Israel has tape of slain Iran nuclear chief talking about building 5 warheads. This is from 2008. Okay. So given that, we don't want to rely on Jewish news media, okay, because people here are like, oh, Armin, wow, okay. But let's go to Al Arabiya English. Slain Iranian scientist Fakhrizadeh asked to produce 5 warheads, Israel reports. We have the audio. Should get the audio as well. Anyways, this is why, Monkey, I keep getting so pissed where people say, like, I was on OAN and there was this other guy that was debating me, and I don't know why they didn't give me the video, because we started shouting and he was like, you have no idea what he was telling me. He was like saying, you have no idea what you're talking about. All our intelligence shows that the Islamic Republic was not interested in getting a nuclear bomb. And I was like, the guy was supposed to be an expert, and I started like attack, like it got so messy on OAN. You remember I went to the show for an interview on OAN. I don't know if they're going to invite me, because I think I started shouting at the guy. I didn't shout, but I got into a fight.
Was he full of shit? Like, was he just saying our intelligence? What do you mean our intelligence? Who is yous? What do you mean our? Who is you? Who are your people? What do you mean our intelligence? Like that doesn't mean anything. What intelligence?
Yeah. So, you know what the Islamic Republic is trying to do? The Islamic Republic, before Ali Khamenei was killed, right? They figured out, because of the audio leak from Fakhrizadeh, they figured out that no matter what they do, if they move towards getting a nuclear bomb, the Americans would know, the Israelis would know. So, because they were trying to do that, and they realized that there is no information that will not get leaked from inside the Islamic Republic. So they came up with the strategy of, instead of pursuing a nuclear weapon, because they wanted a nuclear weapon, they will pursue a situation that they are right next to having a nuclear weapon. Do you know what I mean? Like, they will make everything perfect for a situation where they could go from not having a nuclear weapon to having a nuclear weapon at a moment's notice. That was
like, I have a note that says, I want to kill Mr. So-and-so. I have a gun, but the clip isn't inside. I have a holster. I have all this in a box. I get in the car. I'm going to his house. The box is there. But until I put the clip in, chamber the round, and get out of the car, right? You're going to wait till then, till I knock on his door, even though you have all this information, and you're not going to stop me on the way, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. So, or here, let me tell you another way. Okay. So I can say, I promise you, Monkey, like, let's say you hate peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Let's say that, right? And I tell you that I promise you, I'm not making a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Okay. And then you look at me and like, I'm just putting peanut butter on this slice of a bread. Like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, this is not peanut butter. I'm just putting peanut butter on this side of the bread. And then you look at me, I pick another slice of bread and I'm putting jelly on it. Like, oh, Armin, you said you're not gonna make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Like, I'm just putting jelly on this other bread, a completely separate bread that I'm putting jelly on it, right? Not a peanut butter. This is jelly on this slice of bread, and there's peanut butter on this slice of bread. But at a moment's notice, I could go wham. But as of right now, we have no intention of making a peanut butter jelly sandwich. We're just putting peanut butter on this slice and jelly on this one. But I want to make sure that you know that I could go like this, and it's so fast that you can't stop me. Does that make sense?
It would make sense if I'm allergic to peanuts, but I can't resist them.
Okay. See, Amir saying, oh, this analogy is perfect. So what the intelligence agencies are saying to you guys is say, like, we're only also saying that the Islamic Republic is putting peanut butter on one slice, what is the peanut butter? Enriching uranium. And then Here, they're like, the intelligence agency are like, we're only noticing that the Islamic Republic is putting jelly on this other slice over here. What is the other slice? Is ballistic missiles that are capable of accepting a nuclear warhead with enriched uranium in it. So they're separate. This is over there, that is over there. But the Islamic Republic wants to have the technology where they could, at the moment notice, go, well, like, wham! They were separate, and now they're same. That's what they want.
I really like peanut butter enriched bread.
So that's how I can explain what's happening to you guys. All right, let's go to super chats. Tarun is saying, yes, it's me from the school thing. Okay, ask Armin what Aryan Dravid is. They are trying to do something like that in Israel. He'll understand what I mean. Yes, this is a new one. He's talking about ethnic Puritanism, people who want to be pure Aryans in India, and he hates that. He thinks that's like racial obsession with racial purity and being Aryan and stuff like that. Let me tell you, like the Aryan is not even a race. It's not an ethnicity. Aryan is a culture. It's not by blood. It's not by like the Nazis when. Aryanism, like both in India and or in Iran, if anybody thinks that like this Aryan is about like having a certain blood or DNA or ethnicity, they don't know what Aryan means. The Nazis changed the meaning of an Aryan, and now some people in Iran and India just believe the Nazis' versions. For thousands of years, Aryan just referred to a culture. It referred to a language group. It had nothing to do with race or ethnicity.
It did not work out well for Germany.
Yes. Aryan just means noble people, and it mostly is mostly a group of language groups, which is tied to culture. And then Zipgun with a super chat saying, if you believe that Sephardic or Mizrahi are the only true Jews, they accept Ashkenazis, so no argument. Yeah, yes. Nobody said Ashkenazi. I mean, I didn't say it. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah.
I think what I said was Marxism bad.
Yes, Marxism bad. I don't care about. Yeah, exactly. I don't care about. You being Ashkenazi. I'm just referring to other people who want to reduce Jewish people to Ashkenazis is because they hate white people, they hate West, they hate Europe, and they just want to be able to hate Israelis by making them the same as Europeans. But of course, Ashkenazi Jews are Jewish. Like, yes, 100%.
It's people that want to hate Jews, but they don't want to admit they hate Jews, so they say, no, those aren't real Jews.
Yes. And then we got Ministry of Wrong Think. Thank you so much for the super chat saying, were those the same 18 intelligence agencies that said Russia hacked the 2016 election before it was proven false? LOL. I don't know the history of that. I need to look into that. I think U.S. intelligence agencies are most of the time good. I think it's the politicians that misuse their reports. I do know sometimes they're infiltrated by people with political agendas. So I'm not saying they're always good, but on average, U.S. intelligence agencies produce good information. But politicians sometimes take their reports and try to interpret it in a way that pushes their agenda.
Well, the thing about this is that she was going to use the intelligence agents. Oh, could you please bring it back? Is there a way to bring it back?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? I appreciate your attempt at fixing the Odyssey. That was a great attempt.
Yeah.
Like Zendaya, and look at what you did there. That's Zendaya in the Odyssey, but he did a little tweaking there. Really appreciate what you did there. And the lady was saying this, talking about the 18 intelligence agency. Then she talked about, oh, how do you know that they were going to have enriched uranium and a weapon? Is that because of the same 18 agencies you were going to talk about? Go ahead, talk about those agencies. Then she stopped talking about the agencies. Why? Because he was going to use the same source as she did. And when she saw that wasn't going to work, She backed up. She's no, I'm not even going to talk about the agencies, and shifted the blame to the politicians for believing the agency that she was going to say should be believed. Because when that agency says they don't have one right now, that's when you believe them. When they say they do have one now at this moment, oh, now you don't believe them and you don't want to quote them. You want to blame the politicians for believing them. There was a double standard that she was bringing up.
Right. Fit over 50 Fitness, thank you so much for the jewels. And Ministry of Wrong Think again, saying, notice how she framed the question on U.S. soil, completely deflecting that Iran, the Islamic Republic, and its proxies are responsible for around 1,000 U.S. deaths over 50 years. Yep, apparently it doesn't matter. American lives don't matter if it's not on U.S. soil.
The Quds forces had a good bit to do with that, right? And what was the name of that guy? Soleimani?
Qasem Soleimani. He was the head of the Quds force. Yeah, so the IRGC has 5 different operations, right? So it's their Air Force, their Navy, their ground force, the 5 military wings, the Basij, and the Quds Force. Quds Force is for operations outside of the borders of Iran. Amir, thank you so much for the super chat, saying no rush when we can see the interview at OAN. Apparently, they're not going to give it to me. I asked them for it, and they never sent me the video.
Is it on OAN?
It is supposed to be on OAN. Yes, it is. It should be, yeah. You know what? Maybe I should find it on OAN.
Maybe it was so good they're like, nah, everybody got to watch it here. This is getting all the views. This fight was incredible.
Yeah, we had a fight.
That gets clicks, believe it or not.
Yeah, we had a fight. I don't know, because they were like, guys, stop it. And we're like, and then it just kept going. So they did a promo of it, but they didn't put the full version. So Armin Navobi and this is the guy that I was fighting.
Oh, let's put it up on screen so people can see. Let's take a look at that.
No, but they didn't put my segment. They said that we had a debate, but they teased it without putting it out there. So
no, I'm just saying that it's you didn't add it to the screen, so the people aren't seeing it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go, guys.
So where can I find the rest of this?
Smug looking guy a little bit, right?
I want to find. Yeah, I need to find.
Going by that picture.
Okay. All right. Justin with a super chat saying, I would have said to that dumb CNN check, I'm glad you agree Bibi isn't a war criminal then, since no Palestinians are dying on their own soil. Ooh. Oh my God. Yeah, so because they don't belong there. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's clever. Clever.
I see what you did there. Like if they're Arabs, where did they came from? They came from Arabia. They came from the Hejaz, right? And today's Saudi Arabia. And then now they're spreading into 22 Arab countries through imperialism. So does that mean that why are they not back in Hejaz? Why are they in 22 different countries in Hejaz? Does this mean if Arabs die where they are, like only if they die in Saudi Arabia that matters? I mean, they did spread over out of Hejaz into 22 countries through war and imperialism. So does that mean that why are you doing here? Why are you here? Like if you die here, is it not a crime because you're out of Arabia? I don't know. By the way, I'm not advocating for that, but by the way, that's a dangerous way to think. Actually, it's interesting because all of these other people who expanded, they expanded without permission, right? They expanded without permission. United States being everywhere that it is with permission, right? So United States
Palestinians are colonizers.
Yeah. Rod, thank you so much for the jewels. Thank you so much for supporting us. I appreciate that. And then Ministry of Wrong Think, again, saying liberals about America, leftists about America, saying using a weapon to protect your home and property isn't justifiable. And then leftists talking about the IRGC, America was there for oil, so it's okay if they kill Americans.
They can use guns to protect their homes, but we can't use guns to protect ours.
You know, one thing I forgot to mention, Monkey, is that when people say they're there for oil, they make it seem like the Americans are stealing the oil. You know, if Americans want energy security, which is what every goddamn nation wants, it's not just Americans who want energy security. Everybody fights for energy security. Energy is life. Energy security is security for life. So every fucking nation out there is fighting for energy security, not just Americans. And security for Americans to buy energy means that the providers of energy get to sell energy. And guys, I know United States makes more energy, produces more oil than buys it, but energy security is not about just being able to buy. It's about having enough global supply for the prices to be manageable, you back at home, even if you're making your own oil, right? But having access to energy means that the providers of energy, like Venezuela, Iraq, Iran, not the Islamic Republic, the Iranian people eventually, they get to live better lives because they get to sell it at market prices. So this is not Americans going there, invading a place and taking their oil. This is Americans going there, providing free security services for you, so you get to sell your oil. So you get to build the infrastructure so that you get to sell more of your oil at more reasonable prices, not just to Americans, but to everyone. We want oil, but you also want to sell your oil. We come here, and this is a win-win. We provide you with the safety and security for you to be able to build the infrastructure that you could use to get that shit out of the ground there. So you win by selling it to us, and we win by buying it from you. It's not like they're there using, the United States is not using its army to go there and take people's oil.
Another thing is commerce. They were protecting commerce in and out of the Persian Gulf. If any of those people need to have goods imported, we are protecting the import of any goods needed there. There's a lot of stuff that is very hard to get there by land or by plane. So we're like a shipping container can provide a lot of goods. And we're also protecting that kind of commerce, also protecting that kind of commerce going to all of Europe through Bab al-Mandeb and the Suez Canal. So this isn't just about American and American oil. We're protecting international trade, international commerce. So saying that it's about our oil, you know what? Our oil, how much of it is ours there? Very little. What we're doing is protecting the trade of everyone, because it's mostly for Europe and for the Indo-Pacific. And thank you for your super chat.
Thank you. You start a couple of comments. You wanted to respond to them?
Yes. Let me see over here. Okay, I think it's okay if I do it this way. You know, I can't give Armin kisses, but if Alf gives his monkey kisses for Armin, that is allowed, because I know I can't, but Alf can. So thank you, Alf. And let me see what else we have here. Yeah, people want to see this. You fought. Can we watch it? I'm with you there. I want to see this. I definitely want to see this.
Yeah.
Yehud is making Ewert is making a very good comment here. How much uranium has to be enriched for thorium-based nuclear reactor? None. Like if they were saying, oh well, we need our nuclear for civilian purposes, give us a thorium reactor. No way to make a bomb with that. Right? They're not going to do that, because what they want is enrichment for weapons. So this is a very good point being brought up. And super chat. Zipgun says, not accusing you. I was addressing the argument. Oh, no. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yes, of course. Yeah. No, thank you. Anyways, Monkey. Oh, wait. We are going to go pretty soon into our group call within our group discussion. Monkey, are you going to be there today?
Yes.
Yes. From the beginning or halfway through?
I hope to be there from the beginning. So far, I know of nothing that would stop me, but you know how the world is.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate you being there, Monkey. It's really always, when you're not there, your absence is very noticeable. So thank you for being there every day. Guys, we'll go to our group. We have a discussion group. We go there every single day. And we talk about these topics and many other topics. I'm going to put the link to our discussion group in the chat. The link is also in the QR code. The link is in the in the description. The link is also in the bio link of Liberty Politics YouTube channel, which we will be live streaming the group call on Liberty Politics. So if you're not going to join the group call, watch us over there. Come over there and watch our discussion. And make sure, guys, if you're watching us here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button and hit the bell notification. That would be very much appreciated. And thank you to all the people who have done that already. And guys, don't forget Monkey's channel. Monkey, I'm going to put a link to Monkey's channel. We love the Monkey. We're trying to see his channel grow. So I'll put the link to Monkey's channel in the chat as well for you guys to go subscribe. He's at 822, and we're trying
Maybe
to
I can get to
him
25.
25. Yes. All right. Okay, guys. So we're going to go eat and get ready for our group call coming up in 1 hour. And Monkey, do you want to say anything before we go?
Love you all. Monkey kisses, not for Armin. Armin doesn't get it. All the chat. Monkey kisses.
Oh my God. That sound. Okay. All right, guys. See you guys soon. Until then, in 1 hour. See you guys in 1 hour. Until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainian, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javid Shah, Payande, Iran.
Peace.
See you guys soon. Peace.